I woke up and I've never been so depressed in my life. And I was like, that was a nightmare because I'm here now. I'm broke. I'm in overdraft in my account. I'm about to get charged for my overdraft and I've got no money to pay the overdraft charge. I'm working at this Chinese restaurant, literally drying dishes. If you gave me the option to sleep for a week or die peacefully, that is what I wanted at that time.
This episode is brought to you by MyFundedFX. Welcome everyone to another Words of Rizdom podcast. We're back we're not back. This is the first time. We're in our new home, our new studio. It's all going to get added to as time goes on. It's an absolute pleasure. I'm very, very excited as well for our guest to celebrate our new home, Artan.
Yes. What's going on, my bro? Happy to be here. Thank you for having me on.
No, 100%. It's my pleasure, man. I know you've done a long journey down here as well.
Yeah. It's a couple hours from London, so from North London, it's not too bad. So
that's it, man. Well, first of all, massive congrats and congratulations on the success of your most recent song.
Thank you, bro.
It's an absolutely incredible, over 2 million views on YouTube. I think millions of views on listeners, on Spotify as well.
Yeah. It's got 15 million in 8 weeks on Spotify.
Incredible.
Yeah, my biggest song I've ever dropped.
We had to say final.
Yeah.
Retired.
Yeah, I'm done.
Finish on top.
Finish on a high. But yeah, man, nice. My biggest tune that I've ever done. And it's been a long time coming because I've been doing this for like 7 years if you just count the rapping. You know
yes.
What I mean? So,
well, that's where we're going to go into. So obviously I know who you are. I know a bit about your background as well. But there might be people out there who don't. So we always like to start with the sort of how you got into where you are, a bit about your backstory, and then from there we just flow into it.
100%, bro. So I actually if we start before the music, I've been to 7 different schools when I was younger. So I lived in Essex, I lived in Romford, I lived in Stanmore, I lived in Harrow, Woolstone, Wood Green, and then I've just moved.
These are all in London, right?
Yeah, all in London, obviously bar the Essex one. I'm just for family, staff, you know what I mean, moving around. So I went to a lot of schools, and in each school, what I needed something to basically get me a circle of friends, innit?
Okay.
And what I realized that I could do is I could beatbox. So I'd go around every school. By the third school, I'd realize all right, cool. You know what? Yeah. If I actually want to give an impression, at the time, beatboxing was the thing. Everyone's rapping grime and that. So I was like, all right, I'll beatbox. This time, I'd never written a bar. But that was my introduction into all these social circles, and I quickly kind of found a way to adapt to each environment. And that's what got me into the music game. So I had freestyles of I don't know if you know Double S, Boy Better Know, all these people on YouTube basically in the SBTV days we were just mentioning.
Yeah, exactly.
Big RIP Jamal, by the way, my guy. And then basically after that, during that same time, I used to play table tennis for England.
Oh wow!
So that was my thing. I'm half Chinese, so it's in my blood. You get me? You know what I mean? So my dad's he used to play for Singapore.
Oh wow!
So I trained every day. I've always had this high expectation of myself to be the best or to be just sick at something. And because of moving school so much, I had to have that mentality of I have to be something. Otherwise, I'll just fall into nothing.
Yeah.
And because I'm changing all these circles of friends, it's I need to hit the ground running every time. But yeah, and then when I went to uni for about a year, and then I stayed. I don't know if I can say this on the podcast. But I stayed for an extra 6 months just to get the loan for the next year, just so I could save up money. I was doing all sorts in my second year just to try and make money, and then I basically this is the first time where I started writing, and it got to this stage where beatboxing was never going to be a thing. It was more of a party trick, you know.
Yeah.
You do it once, it's oh, right, that guy can do that mad thing, and then you do it again, and it's all right, mate. We've heard that one before. You do something new, but it's limited. You know, there's only so much you can do.
Yeah.
So I started writing, but this was something that was a massive thing for me. Yeah, where in my life I always, because I've been so used to going school to school to school, and I've been respected differently in all of these schools.
Yeah.
It was kind of after table tennis, I was I need to do something that I love. And at the time, rapping was something that was so far from anything that I thought I could actually do. I'm like, bro, look at me, bro. Like, I do not look like a rapper. Now I might look a bit more like a rapper. But back in the day when I'm 16 to 18, bro, I'm some skinny little white kid from like all over London. Like, you know what I mean? My accent's also a little bit weird because I'm half geezer. Like, I used to have a little bit of like an accent like that. Like, you know what I mean? I didn't know who I was.
Like a chameleon.
Exactly, yeah. But then I had to kind of take that leap of faith where I was like, which is the best analogy that I've like learned from myself is when I think about starting a new career, yeah, and I'm nervous about it, or starting a passion or something, I usually try and think like, who are the people that I'm scared of, what they think about me? Like, who are those people? Like, try and actually write down on a piece of paper, who are those people that I care so much that if I fail or if I do this and they laugh, who are those people? And I'm telling you now, yeah, because I had a chat with my boy the other day about this. Those people, 99% of the time, are people that you don't actually care about. You don't see on a day-to-day basis. Yeah. Other than your parents, like they're people that you... And if they're not happy for you for pursuing your passion, bro, they're not supposed to be around you. Yeah. They're not. So you have to just do it. So at that point, I was like in a very... one of my best friends, he took his own life. And at the time, I was in a very similar position. Like, I was so unhappy, working 9 to 5, like... really grafting and just not understanding like what my purpose is, like what do I want to do, how do I can't be a slave to this system like every day. Like I'm talking, when I tell you for 3-4 years I cried like honestly, shit, you know, like 15% of my lunch breaks I would walk around Aldgate and I'd just cry, bro, thinking like, why do I have to go back in? Like, why? Like, this doesn't make sense to me. Like, I believe that you're supposed to live a happy life. Like, I believe it. Like, do what you love. So throughout this whole period, every paycheck, I'm paying my rent, and then every paycheck, I'm putting into music, and I'm not making the money back. And that's for, well, if I'm completely honest with you, bro, that's until 2 months ago. Really? So I've done this for 7 years. Like, and in this whole time, I'm like, I could be giving money to my dad. I could be giving money to my mum. I could be sort of helping out my sister. So I've also got guilt as well, where it's like, bro, if this dream of like, and I'm still not there yet. I'll be honest, bro, I'm not rich at all, like in any shape or form. But it's like just that keeping that dream alive, but also not being an idiot. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's like just trading support and resistance, bro, like non-stop for like 10 years. It's like, bro, like at some point you got to be like, what is working and what isn't. Don't just be stubborn and stick to your thing. You know what I mean? So yeah, not hating on us. We're SMC over here, you know what I'm saying? But yeah.
It happens, man. Well, it's a very incredible journey, and at the end of the day, it relates, as you just mentioned, trading there as well. It's the exact same. You know, if anything that you want to be successful at, from what I've researched and from all the people I've spoken to so far, including yourself, regardless of the industry. So like even with the music industry there, you've invested time, energy, faced hardship, failure, had dark times. And that's the only thing that's led you to this moment now. Yeah. You know, as you said, up until 2 months ago, that return now coming through. And it's only because of that consistency there of those 7 years, no matter how good or bad it was. Because even during that time, you had moments where obviously you had very, good music popping off. And, I remember looking at some of your tracks recently and, you had like a higher high, if you will, and then a bit of a dip.
I'll show you the graph, yeah. I'll show you now and we can put it on the screen, innit, yeah. But I'll show you the progression that is on a graph. From my streams and monthly listeners, because if anyone doesn't know that watching why I'm also slightly on it, so I'm a trader myself. I'm still not like a consistently. I'm not a full-time trader as of yet. I'm funded, but I'm not a full-time trader yet. Okay. So, but I will just watching it. You know what I'm saying? Give me a year or so. You know what I'm saying? That's but this and we'll pop this up on the screen. This is my streams. For like 7, you can see the graph there. Yeah. Like here, then it dipped for like a year. I really had to then it went up. Really had to refocus and think of what my strategy was. And because there's obviously a lot of traders here, like this is the best way I can describe it is I had to really figure out, what was working and what wasn't, and actually like refine it to the point where it's like with music, yeah, there's the making the music side of things. There's the branding, there's the marketing of your song or whatever it is, and then there's the TikTok element. And the game's always evolving. The same way the market's always evolving. Yeah. So you actually have to like stay on top. If I was stubborn, like a lot of artists now, they're washed up now because they're like, I'm not willing to do the TikTok thing. I'm not gonna shake my hips and do, you know what I mean, do all that. And I'm not gonna do that either. But it's like, how can I make this strategy work for me, for my music? So that's what we worked on with the last song, She's a Timber, which is like literally like done crazy and hopefully will change my life. I'm still not quite there yet, but it's a great foundation now. Now,
100%.
you know what I mean? I feel like I've just got $1 million in funded. You know what I'm saying? That's the way I feel right now. And I'm like, all right, now it's your time.
Well, that's it. Where you put in all the time back testing. You know, you put all the time in live testing. You've done all the time of learning your strategy, your edge, and staying in line with the market to evolve consistently. And you've stayed disciplined.
Yeah.
You know, and then now you've gotten to a point where you, as you say, $1 million funded. You've gotten that foundation, and even then to continue now, obviously, you just keep doing the same stuff.
I could fall like the thing is that a lot of people, especially in music, when you're an outsider looking in, and it could be the same way with trading. You know, if you got, let's say, like with me, yeah. We'll talk about this in a little bit, but like I've got funded, 100K, and I'm like, rah, like if so, like the man might be like, oh, rah, you're funded, like it's only uphill now, but it's not that. Like with my song, for example, popping off, it's so important to be like, great, I've got this song that's done really well, but you could be a one-hit wonder. You could so easily just fall off tomorrow. Your next song, if it don't bang, then what? Like and it's. Sometimes you get caught up in these numbers, right? Same way, you know, like I've got to make 3% this month and then 5%, then 10%. If I make 10%, it's got to be 15%. No, bro.
Yeah.
Be consistent. So like with this song, if my next song doesn't pop off the same way, I have to stick to my strategy, understand what is working, understand that like, if it doesn't, bro, I might upload a song at 7 p.m. on a Thursday and Arsenal might be playing at 7:30.
Yeah.
So the traction might not get there. The algorithm then goes, we're not feeling this. You know what I mean? Like, and it just doesn't bang. But is that, no, the product was there, the strategy was there, but just in the live market, you know what I'm saying? It didn't connect.
Different participants, yeah.
Exactly. So, and there might be like Dave might drop a video, Stormzy might drop an album that week, and GRM Daily might have 10 freestyles they drop. So, and there's some things that I can't control the market, innit? I can only control what I do.
That's it.
So going forwards, it's being strategic. Also, again, though, not over deep in it, because the same way when I trade as well, it's like I overthink a lot, and I like even on the way up here, I was listening to a bunch of songs, and I've had the song that I want to drop next. I've got it. This is the plan, and then on the way up here, I'm listening to a couple. I'm like, oh, nah, you know what? I think this might be the one. Like this one. Maybe if I drop this, and I'm like, yeah, but you've written out this plan. You've literally like got the plan there.
Yeah.
So why is it different than last week? And I'm battling between like, okay, cool. There's an opportunity's just come up. Do I then drop this song now? Like, and yeah, it's a stressful game, but it's so similar to trading.
100%.
It's like, it's insane. And I'm trying to use everything I've learned from music with my new like trading like career that hasn't started yet.
Well, it started. You're funded.
Yeah, it started.
So you've made the steps. And I know, how long have you been actively trying to learn and to trade?
So I started in the bull run with crypto. That's when I first started, and I made bare money, man. Like for me, I made bare money, and then the story, like I'm sure there's so many people that is the same. Yeah, I made bare money from January to May. In the space of 4 weeks, yeah, I flipped like 2 bags into like, it was like 25K. And for me at the time, I was like, raw, like that's, and I'm trading futures, innit?
Yeah.
Thinking I've got it. I'm like, oh, the 618, there, boom, like the golden zone, just like whatever, 1 to 3, it's just booming. I'm like, there's no need to take profit. It's just booming.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And then in the space, I was trading on Binance, and then in the space of, it was like 4 a.m. And one of my boys, I woke up, my phone's pinging off. And I'm like, I'm just literally like, why is my friend called me like so many times? I'm thinking either someone's died or something mad has happened with crypto. And I was like, I think it's the second one, innit? So anyway, I open my phone, see notifications, Binance notification. And I'm like, oh no. Like I check and it's margin call. And I'm thinking, why? Bro, Binance, obviously it's gone right through my stop loss. They didn't give a shit. Basically.
Went straight through,
liquidated all of my positions that were all break even, liquidated everything. I lost 25 bags in like 10 minutes. Crazy.
How did you handle that morning?
Do you know what? That was the moment, yeah, for me, that made me love trading. I know it sounds mad, yeah, but it made me think, if I can lose 25K in 5 minutes. Imagine what I can make. Like, that was what I literally thought to myself. I was obviously pissed. Like, obviously, I was pissed. But, like, I literally thought to myself, like, rah, like, 25K, I lost that quickly. So just deep, like, if I actually get good at this, I can flip that in the opposite way. So, and yeah, like, obviously, I give myself, like, because the music's taken 7 years to get to where I am. I'm giving myself, like, a 5-year period just because I've got a lot more resources. For music, you haven't got a YouTube tutorial on how to make a banger and like follow someone else's rhyme scheme. And
can't get educated, really.
Yeah, and then this is the song you need to write. This is what I've done. Copy it, see if it works for you. If it does, then figure out how to market it. It's not like that. It's art. It's still creative. They're both creative, but one, you can actually, like, you can copy something.
There are blueprints.
Yeah, there's some blueprints, exactly. So yeah, man, that's that was kind of where I was at, and I was just like, you know what, I'm gonna take this. I love it. Like, I remember when I was young, my dad mentioned to me one time when I was like 11, 12, there's some, like, when I was in Essex, some like proper geezers slick back hair, and they're like 23 years old, and he's like, oh, why don't you like learn to trade like stocks or something? Because like all the young guys, they're all going to the East End and, you know, trading. So I actually applied for a job. I didn't get it, but I applied for some trading job, and then some guy taught me for like, I think it was like an hour a day for like 3 weeks, and I literally learned nothing. I paid him bare money as well, like money at the time. It was a lot to me. But yeah, and then I just loved it, bro. And it's taught me so much about my life. Like, I'm sure you know.
Oh, 100%.
Like, it's changing my life.
It makes you self-reflect, you know.
Yeah, bro. It's changing. I honestly think that if I never started trading, I don't think I would have made this song. Like,
Really?
that blew up. Yeah. Honestly, and that's because I was willing to look at myself, actually be like, this isn't working. I'm break even. But on music, in music terms, like in trading, I basically was a break even musician, and I need to change my strategy. I need to put my pride aside and be like, actually, like, take a step back, really figure out what you're doing right and what you're doing wrong. And I find that what you're doing right is just as important as what you're doing wrong. And I never really had that ability to actually deep that. Like, in life, I'm a big overthinker about what do I do wrong, how can I get better, and I often just completely forget the fact that there's so many things that you need to focus on that are doing good. Like, just focus on the good things. Don't focus on cutting out the bad. Focus on how to
double down.
Double down on the good. And that's the mentality I'm at the moment, because I'm able to actually, you know, I've got data now. Like, I look at data, you know what I mean? So
it's incredible, man. It's incredible. And I love to hear the sort of, the trading helped with the music career, and then being able to use such a clear analogy for both. Yeah. You know? And at the end of the day, mindset-wise and blueprint-wise for success, it's always the same, you know.
Facts.
That consistency, that discipline. I think a big one, what you mentioned there, of doubling down on the positive points is so true, because I think naturally comes to us to just focus on the negatives. You know? Oh, this is so wrong. This is bad. I don't do this right. And yet, you know, when we actually focus on the positives, the negatives are almost sort themselves out, because then they end up being less focused on. So therefore, they start to fade away as the positives improve. But it's incredible to hear. So obviously, she's a 10. She's a 10 but?
Yeah, she's a 10 but. Yeah, okay. yeah.
This is the thing. So I was actually going to ask you. She's a 10 but, apart from the accent, right?
Yeah.
What's wrong with the accent?
It's just the Birmingham accent, you know what I mean, bro? Like, it's just not really too attractive, you know what I mean? Like it's not the one, but you know what I mean. My girl's actually from Birmingham, so it's one of the ones. She hasn't got the accent, luckily. But yeah.
I was gonna say you're in trouble. You're in trouble. How did you do that?
No. Do you know what? No, I never. I think it was more of a trend at the time, innit? So I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna again. I feel like a nerd just relating everything to trading, but it was like, bro, I'm just seeing high highs and high lows, run with the market. And if the market's presenting an opportunity and it's a trend already and you've got a banger, bro, just say it. Like, don't over deep it, just run with it. And that's what I did. Like, literally just was like, I wrote it. Yeah, bro, filmed it in Brum. I was like, bro, just stick to what, you know, don't keep it, like, don't over deep all these things and just keep the vibe. It was like the video cost us basically nothing. My boy Ben Stancombe, who produced the song as well, amazing producer, he shot the video on literally like no budget, just went around Birmingham, and it's funny because that's probably the cheapest video I've ever done. Obviously, you can't do that all the time, innit? Because he's just an incredible a creative in general.
Yeah.
But just running with it, man. Like it's just literally just running with it, and I'm trying to now do that. I've got a formula now with my music. Like I can't break it all down, but like on here, but like there's certain parts of the elements of my music that I've looked back and gone, why do people like that? And I used to think it was because I make a lot of introspective, sad songs. And I used to think, oh, it's just because people can relate to them, you know, like it gets in their feels. But it was more than that. It was like, when I break it down, it's like the rap element, what the quotables that they're taking away, and then also the tempo of the song. So I'm like, how can I put this into one song? Like, obviously I can't do it every time. If I could, I'd be Drake. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I'd be a genius. But it's just understanding, you know, like we were just saying, what works, what doesn't, and having this formula that you can then take and put into every studio session. Same way with trading. Like, you have your idea. No trade is the same. Nothing. I don't care what anyone says. No trade is ever the same. You literally just have to like keep an eye out for it and be like, when you know that it's coming. Like same with a song. When I know it hits, I know because I've studied it. I know because I've tested this.
Yeah,
like,
well, you've built that experience, you know.
Exactly. Yeah.
And one thing you touched on there, which I think is interesting, is that when you didn't say go overboard in the overthinking or over budgeting, or just literally went with the flow, that's when it, you know, in terms of success, that's when the most success has come.
Facts.
Is that something you've realized yourself as well?
100%, bro. Like even the guy on the song, Spencer Elmer.
Yeah.
So obviously big up Spence, like smashed the tune. Originally, like with collabs, I don't collab. Like I very rarely collab with artists because a lot of the time it's like I want a big artist or something like that. And with Spence, it was like I liked his vibe, I liked the song. The producer Ben put me in touch with him, and I was like, yeah. Fuck it, can I swear on here, by the way?
Yeah.
Cool. I was like, fuck it, let's just do it, innit? Why not? Like, this could be sick. But if I never, and again, I put this down to trading, like, it wasn't a conscious thing, but I think if I didn't have that, like, fuck it, let's just do it attitude, I wouldn't have gone, because it was in Birmingham, I had to travel and stay up there and get a hotel and that. Yeah. If I could have been like, CBA might just, I know what I'm doing. I'm just going to stick to it. Yeah. It's like, no, just having that mentality of just, you know, like always be open-minded to suggestions. Have your plan, have your goal, but like just one person can change your life, innit? Like one person can literally change your life and you don't know who that person may be or what situation you might find yourself in, but the more opportunities you take, like, and the more, not with trading, but like, no, I've learned that the hard way. Yeah. But like, the more opportunities that you do take, you can find yourself in a room or a situation that can honestly inspire you, change you, whatever it may be. And I've learned that, like, in a good way, so many times where the days that I never wanted to go studio and I was like, oh, I just can't be asked, and I just forced myself to go. Those are the days that I actually ended up having I made a hit. Or like, you know, like sometimes I can't be asked to go to the gym and then you go in and you're like, it's the best I'm actually I can't believe I actually did that. You know what I mean? Yeah. I deserve this David Lloyd steam room right now. You know what I mean? Like I deserve this today.
That's
you know
it. What I mean? Yeah. It's so true though, because I felt very similar in terms of like whenever I've said, you know, if you're tired, I don't want to go gym, they end up being the best workouts. You know? And it sounds very similar in terms of when you put in that studio time, it's like the chart time. You know, the more time you put in, the more, you know, opportunities that will come along, the more you will learn, the more you will build your experience up. Now, obviously, you know, going back a bit into your journey, you obviously moved around a lot, you said. And because of that, I would imagine, became very adaptable. Was there a struggle, though, in the beginning? Let's take a break for a minute there, guys, because I want to introduce you to our sponsor, MyFundedFX. Now, just as I'm taking over the podcast space, they're taking over the prop firm space. Now, you can trade up to 300K with MyFundedFX. They have no maximum trading days. No maximum trading days. It's insane, I know. You have to achieve 8% in the challenge, 5% in the verification, and you have no time restraints. You can do that in 1 month, 6 months, however long it takes you. It's crazy, I know. But also, on top of that, there's only one minimum trading day. So you can get fully funded within 2 days. 2 days. It's insane. I'm blowing your minds right now, I know. But they are taking over the prop firm space. Now, they have a 2-step challenge and verification, and they also have a 1-step. Make sure you use the code RIZ in the affiliate code section so they know that I sent you. The link is in the description, but let's get back to the episode.
Bro, it's the biggest struggle of my life, and it's helped in a lot of ways and also hurt me in a lot of ways because because I went to like 7-8 different schools. I actually originally, I won't get into this too deep now, but like I grew actually from like 3 till 10. I grew up in a Christian cult. So I went from only knowing this way of life to suddenly now I'm in the States. It was a private school, but we got it for free because my dad coached table tennis and my mum worked at the church. So I got it for free. And then we left, got into a state school, proper geezer, like it was more like rich boy, like geezer, Essex, Towie kind of people.
Yeah.
And I hated it there. Then went to East London, Romford. All of these schools so different. And I hated it so much. But the one positive was I realized that I could walk into any room and be a chameleon and actually find common ground with anyone, because I actually have a lot of different struggles. Like I've had so many struggles, and humans are designed to struggle. So we like I have that common ground with everyone other than people who kind of haven't struggled.
Yeah.
But this allowed me to, on the positive side, be an independent thinker. At the time, I hated it. Like I didn't have like one strong friendship group.
Yeah,
so I was always moving around, and I felt very lonely. Like my whole childhood, I felt extremely lonely. And then I finally kind of found my circle, and then I've never been scared to just say fuck it and, you know, do something and not care about what anyone thinks. Because I'm like, bro, you might not be my friends in a year.
Yeah.
Like you literally might not be my friends in a year, bro. Like, why do I care about what you think? If I'm gonna fail, like I've done some mad stuff, yeah. I've done some like comedy stuff that like could get me cancelled nowadays. You know what I mean? Like, I've done some like, but at the time, and it flopped hard. Like I'm talking, it was terrible. But no one knows about that now. Like it don't matter now.
Now they do.
Yeah, now they do. Yeah, don't go digging. But like now, but like it was. If I never did that, if I never had the mentality of just going fuck it, I'm gonna try and do this, I'm gonna try and do that, I would have never got to the rapping, because that mentality of just being open, not caring about what people think, and just being like, I don't care if I fail because I'm gonna do it eventually. Even though I did fail, like I did categorically failed in beatboxing. I tried voiceovers, I tried acting, table tennis. All sorts. Like I even tried to move to America. I got declined on my visa, like after saving up for like 7 months. Like that's why I went to uni and I took out the student loan and saving up. So I failed in my whole life, bro. I failed. Like England team for table tennis. I was number 2 in England. They picked a 4-man team. They would never pick me because the number 1, who was my friend, was London, and I was also London, and they didn't want to pick 2 people from London. So I've like, this got me down so much. But then now in the later years, like now I'm 29, I can actually say that like it's helped me because it's numbed me to the point where with trading right now, I've been doing this for 2 years, and a lot of people, if you've seen the L's I've taken on with trading, the accounts I've blown, the challenges I've fucked up, the back testing and literally not having no idea what, like I've just watched 10 videos and I'm like, I get it, and I go on the charts and it just blows through my stop loss, and I'm like, why? Like, I am the market's liquidity for like 3 months straight. I swear down. Like I was just giving everyone money for 3 months, and then but it's cool because I understand that this is part of the process, and I understand that even with the trading thing, the longer it takes me, chances are I might be in a better position than a lot of my peers that are around me that might be like, let's say, doing it quickly and just it's booming because you've not felt the hardship, you know what I mean? So and that's the same with the music. Right now, it's taken me 7 years. I finally got this one big hit, and now it's just another day, bro. Like now, if like I don't know, people might look at it and think, yo, like his life's changed. Oh, he's made it or whatever, and it's like, bro, I'm literally not. I'm in the same position I was. It's just I just had a win. Like that's the way. It's basically I feel like I've just hit my first 1 to 10. Like, but I could just take 10 losses straight after that. So I need to keep a humble head and be focused.
Keep balanced, you know? Exactly. Because the only thing, what got you there is what you need to keep doing to get you further.
Exactly. You don't want to change. The only thing you can do is double down. But in the same breath, again, with trading, I've learned the hard way is that I've tried to double down with trading and go extra hard now. I'm like, I need to. And it's like, no, bro, you need to stick to your routine. Yeah. Like, don't go overboard. Don't suddenly start like, all right, cool. In between London and New York, I'm going to watch a few of these videos and back test 3 hours. But when I passed the challenge, I wasn't doing that. I wasn't doing that. I was waking up, putting on my trade, going about my day, hitting the gym, or like for the last 8 years, going to work, so I can't trade. Now I'm not working at the moment. I'm like, all right, cool. Well, I need to use this time, back test, get better. It's like, no, bro, you weren't doing that when it was working. So why are you doing that now?
Yeah.
Why you can't? And that's one thing with trading is that when I meet successful traders like yourself, it's like a lot of people don't understand that when people say psychology and why psychology is so important, it's not just about, which I used to think it was, is that rush of, I need to trade, like, or I'm winning. Oh my god, my heart's pounding. I'm taking a loss. No, I'm punching up my TV. It's not that. Like, that's not actually. Well, it might be for some people. That's not the psychology I deal with. Mine's more overdoing it or underdoing it, or like it'll blow through my stop loss, and then next thing you know, I'll be like, I need to be more careful next time.
Yeah,
and it's like, so I don't take the next trade. And that's the one that was gonna win. So I'm like, no, next trade, I'm gonna take it. Now I'm just forcing myself to take the trade because, and you're in this limbo. So that's why trading psychology has just taught me so much about my own life and just being cool and, you know, just sticking to what works. And I'm still not even there yet. I'm going through this as we speak. Like right now I'm minus 9% on the account, innit? So
really?
So watch, I'm gonna turn this around. But yeah, man.
There you go, man. But like, as you said though, like the hardship of everything you've gone through, you know, the failures, the setbacks, the adversity has then allowed you to, especially coming into trading, understand what a journey is going to be. So I'm guessing you haven't come in thinking, yeah, this is going to be easy. You know, as you've already said, 5 years, you already allotted yourself a large amount of time. While a lot of people, as you can imagine, and probably have come across, come in like 3 months, 6 months, 9 months. So would you say that because you've because of all the adversity and hardship, is almost taught you already that anything that you want to do successfully is going to take time and to have that patience?
I do, but I also think don't be an idiot. Like, and the best way, what I mean by that, is don't kid yourself. Where if you don't think you've got what it takes, like let's say you're going into trading and you're like, or music or whatever it may be, right? Trading, I'd say a little bit different, but if you can't work like the people you look up to, then don't bother. Like, don't bother. Like, if you think that, like, for example, like one person that I used to look up to is like AJ Tracy, right?
Yeah.
At the time, he was mashing radio sets. At the time, he was doing freestyles like every 2 weeks. I'm seeing him on Snapchat and on Instagram, like he's in the studio once every 3 days. And I'm here going, I'm at work, and I'm thinking, bro, like, how am I ever going to do that, bro? Like, I'm never going to be able to do that. And I just said to myself, bro, was that an excuse? So why can't you can get in the studio every day. You can, because you might be able to pay for studio every day because you don't have the money. But if you save up equipment to record at home and learn how to just mix your vocals to a certain point, then you can be in the studio every day. So like my clothing brand is 9559, so it's 9 to 5 and 5 to 9, and your 5 to 9 will eventually replace your 9 to 5. Like that's my.
I like that.
That's what, yeah, I'll send you some bits in it. I'll send you some
Definitely,
bits.
Man.
And that's my whole thing. But you got to look at the people that are the best in the game, and think like, what did they do to get where they are? I need to replicate that. And if you can do the same things, you will do it. Like you will, 100% you will do it, because you've got the mentality. You're going to be replicating the same blueprint. You just then got to be creative and real with yourself. Because I know a lot of artists that they're not very good. They're not very good, but they're not putting the same work in terms of they're banging their head against a brick wall, but they're not being creative. Same way, like I was saying, just trading support resistance, like, and banging it a little bit. Like, if I trade every day and I backtest this every day, it's going to work.
They're not willing to evolve.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And I think with anything in life, music, trading, like business, whatever it may be, don't be that guy that is like, that in my, like where I live, we will say the washed up older, which tells you like, this is the way you do it. There's no other way. You just got to do. Always been. Yeah, this is how it's always been. And you know what I mean? So yeah, man. Trading's really taught me to stick to my plan, but also be open to, new ideas and just learn.
Yeah.
So yeah, man.
It's like adjusting and being able to pivot with the times and pivot with the market, and the changing environment and conditions.
Exactly.
So like mentioning that, because I know you mentioned it earlier in regards to like TikTok, for example. How did TikTok shift the music scene?
So massively, in a good way and a bad way. So the current scene that we're in right now is, and if I'm honest with you, this isn't even just music. This is, if you have a product, in general, and you want to market it, the whole TikTok thing is crazy because now I spend on a music video. Historically, I've spent every month. I've spent about 2 to anywhere between really 1 and 4K on a music video. That's not the production. That's not the beats. That's not studio. That's just a music video, right? Because that was the best form of promotion. I used to pay for like memes on Instagram and like different pages. You know, like I'm Just Bay, Young Kings TV, all of these pages. I used to create the memes and literally like money comes in, paycheck, send it out to all these pages and just try and build. But now Instagram and YouTube, it's just not the way now. Like a TikTok that you can film on your phone and edit on CapCut or InShot or whatever, that can do more for you. That costs you maybe 50 quid if you wanted to pay an editor just to put a few words on it. That can do more for you than a music video now. Like music videos are right now, they're actually like not really needed because music videos were only made to promote the song for like MTV and back in the day, like MTV and whatnot. But now you don't find, maybe obviously other people might have a different opinion, but I don't find new music from watching a video and going, wow, that video is crazy. I need to check that song out now. Yeah. Now there's another step to it. It's, I've heard that behind a video on TikTok or Insta Reels. Let me check that out on YouTube. Oh, that's a sick video. Okay, cool. Now I go to Spotify. So you've got this like chain of,
it's like evolving.
Yeah, exactly. Now, and it's a good thing because now I can literally be like to you, yo, after this podcast, can I quickly just film a TikTok in here? It's got nice lighting, and you know what I mean. Like, and that'll be free. Boom. But if I want to do a music video, it's like, yo, can I hire this space out and hire the camera? If you've got a lighting team out of 3 locations, I need 3 different pairs of clothes. That's gonna cost me like the whole video. A normal music video will cost me like 3 bags.
Yeah.
So I'm like, bro, that's a terrible business model. So TikTok has allowed you to...
In terms of risk to reward then?
Bro, risk to reward, music is the worst game to get into. Like, straight up, if I tell you the business model of music, so 1 million streams gets you, on Spotify, gets you about 4 grand, yeah? Bear in mind, 1 million streams on Spotify, it has to be a really good song, right?
Of course, yeah.
So you got 4 grand there, right? That's your return of investment. You might get that over 3 months. It might be a year. You don't know if it's going to do well or not.
Yeah.
But the beat itself can cost you anywhere between like 500 and 2 grand. So let's just call it $1,000. Mix and master, 250. Studio time, 250. So let's just call it 1,500 just for the song. Then you've got the music video. Let's just say it's the lower end. And let's say you're spending 1,500. Again, that's low. Yeah, that's low. So you're looking at 3 grand now just to put the song out with a video. Now you need to market the song. Marketing the song, that might cost you, if you want to do it good, like half decent, put $1 grand in. So you're looking at like, basically looking realistically at about 3 to 4 grand to get this single out.
Yeah.
And to break even, you need 1 million streams just to break even. So I did that every month for 4 or 5 years. Like, I literally have ran through so much money. And like I was saying before, you know, it's there's pressure, there's financial pressure, there's ego, there's like, right, everyone's seen me do this for 4 or 5 years. Even some of my friends are like, they're like, oh yeah, like how, like when I talking to them about the music, they're like, yeah, man, like, you know, have you thought about doing this? Or like, you know, that drop shipping stuff, like that's pretty sick. Or like maybe like presenting, you know, like, and I started to even doubt myself. Like, I really, like, there's a message that I wrote to my friend in April a long message where I was literally like, I can't do this anymore for the financial reasons. Like, I love music. I love doing it. I enjoy the aspect of, you know, like meeting fans. I love it when I've done something that I've created and it's helping people. Like, I put it out into the world and it's like, I might have actually well, there's a lot of people that have messaged me being like, you know, you've taken me out of this place or whatever. And that's amazing for me because when I was little, I used to listen to music and think, rah, like, I can't believe this person said something that I'm feeling right now. Like, no one's ever said that before. Like, and that's like a therapy to me. But as someone that is an entrepreneur, as someone that is, you know, I deserve more out of life, sometimes I do think to myself, okay, cool. Like, at what point do I say that this isn't working? And I was ready to quit. Yeah, I was fully done. Like, I was actually She's a 10 Baht was one of my last songs that I was going to do. Like, genuinely, it was like, this week I was going to drop that song and then maybe 2 others, just audios, not going to do videos.
Already recorded.
Yeah, that was done. But I thought, okay, if I am going to quit, like, if I'm actually going to quit this whole, I've doing this 7 years, I've got fans now, yeah, that like, I've taught them like about 9559. I've taught them and told them like, don't give up on your dreams. Like, that's my whole brand. So I'm like, I can't quit. So I'm like, so what can you do? And I had to take like 9 months out and re-strategize everything and just be like, what is the formula? So I actually had a mixtape that never got released called Find Your Formula. That was before She's a 10 Baht, but I didn't have the money to put it out. It was 10 songs. It was the whole mixtape was going to cost me like 25 bags. I didn't have the money to do it. So I was like, I can't do it. So I thought, let me restructure and give it one last shot. And genuinely, if this doesn't work, then I have to be real with myself and be like, you've got so many, like, I'm so, I wouldn't say talented, but I'm talented in figuring out how to do stuff. Like, that's what my talent is. I'm very good, like, adapting to situations.
You think that came from
100%, 100%, because I'm not academic. Like, I've just never been good at studying or anything like that. I'm terrible. But one thing I'm really good at doing is I'm good at business in general. I'm good at networking. Like, that's probably my biggest thing. I know so many people through networking just from taking an opportunity, and I'll get that opportunity just because everyone else had ego behind it. I'm not going to that. I'm not doing that for free. I'm not getting into that room. And and that's what's really really helped me. Yeah, massively.
Definitely. And it just goes to show, look, something that was a negative, as you said, earlier, but had such a positive in your future life.
Definitely.
And no doubt when you were going through that as a, through the schooling stage, and jumping from school to school to school, it probably felt absolutely horrible, especially every single time you went into a new school.
100%.
Probably felt absolutely breaking, probably, especially in those years, because I remember everything just felt like that was all that mattered, or school was all that mattered, and every day, school life was the thing. And there's nothing beyond that.
It's a microcosm of society, but you're in these closed borders, and all that matters is the hierarchy of popularity, or like that's why a lot of people they're either popular or popular because they're cool or funny, or you're a bad boy, or like, I don't know, you're a footballer or something. And outside of that circle, there's nothing. Like, you know what I mean? Like, there's the quote unquote nerds in school who are actually trying to do shit with their lives, but they're not, because they're not successful. It's like, bro, you're just some little neek. But then outside of school, it's like, oh shit, now you're doing something, and now they're the guys. You know what I mean? But one thing I'd love, which I love to say, because I haven't said this on a podcast, but this is so important to me. Like, one of the biggest things in my life is about finding like what you want to do in life. And in school, I battled with this so much, where when I quit table tennis, that was my life, innit? That was all that I knew. It was my brand. It was, I'm the guy because of this. I walk into the table tennis hall, number 2 in England. Like, I'm the big boy, innit? You know what I mean? And then I lost all of it when I left school and I quit table tennis. It was like gone. And I didn't know what I wanted to do in life. And the one thing I can say to everyone, that like, if you're ever in this position that you don't know what you want to do, and you're seeing all your peers like smashing it, and you're like, oh, but I can do that, but like, why don't I just do it? Or why am I doing this and not having success? Honestly, I swear to God, you need to, don't think about it. Yeah. Like, if you can think of something that you want to do, let's say you want to be a cameraman, yeah? Like, just for example, don't think about you need to get the equipment. Literally go and figure out how to do it. Like, if you want to become a presenter, lucky you got TikTok now, that get your phone out and go and do it. If you want to learn trading, go on YouTube and look up how to do it. Like, I know so many people, including myself, that spent so long thinking about what I want to do, in the shower thinking, oh, maybe I could do that. That's a sick idea. Maybe I'm going to do that tomorrow. All right, cool. Like, and I spent so long doing that. I actually was acting on a lot of this. So like, I did try a lot of different things.
Yeah.
But I know so many people that waste 4 or 5 years from like 18 to 22 and they've actually not.
Well, that's what happened here with the podcast. I wanted to do podcasting before trading.
Oh, no
And I said to
way.
myself, I'm going to need to buy equipment. I need to have I need to have a studio, so I need to save up first.
Yeah.
And then I learned you can hire, and ever since then, there was no excuse then. I couldn't give myself an excuse. But even the reality is, back then I could have looked to hire. Back then I could have tried, but I didn't, because straight away, as you said, like, oh, I can't get the equipment. I can't buy a camera.
Yeah.
I said, okay, that dream's dead straight away.
You could have done a shit version of it, but
Yeah.
that's 10 times better. That a million times better, because it's a million times better than zero. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
so
yeah.
it's like, I think what a lot of people don't do is they don't accept that you're going to be shit. Like, just accept it. Like, same with trading, bro. I accept wholeheartedly I am whack at trading until I get good. Like, if you go into something thinking like, oh, okay, I like, just like, a cameraman, or like, it needs to be sick though when I first do it. Bro, you're not going to be good. Just shut up.
Yeah.
You're not going to be good. Firm it. And if you can't firm the fact that you're not going to be good, then you're not going to be good at anything, because you're not going to walk into somewhere. If you want to start football or gym, or like, you're a big guy and you want to bench like 300 kg or something, it's like, bro, you're not going to be good. You need to go to the gym in order to lift that weight. So
I think a lot of people do that with the gym as well, where they're like, I need to have the perfect diet, the perfect training routine. I need to have the perfect gym to work out in, and it's the exact same principle where it's like, why don't you just start?
Yeah.
And like, it was something I mentioned before, actually, where it's like 100% return, So if you're doing nothing, just one workout is 100% return more than what you were doing before,
Facts. And it's similar to like with trading, bro. If you are working 9 to 5, so I'll tell you an exact example of my life. Yeah. So when I was learning trading, I'm working 9 to 5, and I'm thinking, obviously I can't trade then, can I? Innit? Like, I'm missing London and New York. What's the point? Maybe Asia, whatever. But it's like, all right, so how bad do you actually want to do it? Are you actually going to say that you're done then? Like, you're either done or you're not, or are you going to do it at some point and wish that you did it earlier in your life? So I'm like, all right, cool. Well, before work, maybe 8 till 9. If I get in the doors at 9, cool. 8, I can set my limits or whatever. Or 7:30, I can wake up a bit earlier, set my limits. Or if it's completely out of the picture, how do I make Asia session work? Or am I a swing trader? Like, maybe I can be a swing trader and be like, all right, cool. I'll be on the 4 hour, maybe 1 hour, set my limits for at the start of the day, like set my alerts and then come back, or set my alerts at the point, wait for confirmation and then get in. But it's like, bro, are you going to try and make it happen, or are you not? Because the excuses that you make, and I don't want to be that guy that's just like, no excuses, get up 3 a.m. for a run, I'm not that guy. But like, genuinely though, you obviously don't want it bad enough. And that's what I tell people. Like, if you actually have to want it bad enough to the point where it's like, I actually have no excuse. Like, you don't. Like, there's always even if it's watching one video a day. Yeah. It's better than...
It's that daily momentum, And I think, like, you're so right about, like, motivational speakers and people, it's like a cliche thing nowadays. But the reality is what they're saying is true. Like, yes, we all face hardship. And yes, especially in the beginning of our journeys, everyone's having to battle the 9 to 5 versus their dream. And really, it's about the sacrifice of putting time into your dream, as you say. And all it is that I think, again, it's like perfect. People try perfection. Oh, okay, I can only do an hour a day. That's great. Start with an hour a day.
It's
and
not like perfection is so overrated. Like, perfection is something that is what the consumer sees. It's what, if I looked at you trading, I would think he's the perfect trader. Yeah. But you see, like, bro, you take losses. You know what I mean? The same way with business, bro. If I run a restaurant and the restaurant's booming or whatever, bro, 5 staff might not turn in today. Oh, I've just taken a loss for that. Yeah. There's so many things that like you don't see from a consumer's perspective or an outside perspective, that you think perfection is what you need. But it's actually not. It's actually, a lot of the time, the mistakes and the losses actually end up becoming your USP, or like a lot of the time, which I've seen as well, this is a bit of a weird analogy, but a lot of the time, the kids that looked mad weird in school, they became models. And you're like, why? Well, it's because they're so unique. And it's like those losses that you take, or that adversity that you faced, ends up becoming something that is mad beneficial. Same way with me, moving so many different schools. I hated it. I was like, I don't have these group of friends, whatever. But now I'm older, I'm like, Rod, do you know how many people I know? Like, do you know how many people I've built relationships with? Do you know how many people that know my struggle? Do you know how many people that want, like, if I was to reconnect with them, they're like, Rah, I remember you from back in the day. You were grinding. Like, Rah, you beatboxed in that hall with like 10 people in. Rah, like, and now look, like, cool, let's work. You know what I mean? So people respect that. And I think, yeah, man, like, to summarize, if your biggest adversities or your biggest, your losses or whatever it may be, a lot of the time, tend to become like your biggest wins in life. Like it really,
they turn into the pillars, don't they, of the foundation.
They really do. But yeah, that's been a massive part of my life as well. Just taking these L's and realizing down the line like how much that actually benefited me.
Of course.
Or also the Rock said, this is actually a great quote. So have you seen the video of the Rock? Maybe pull it up on a screen. It's an amazing video. He talks about he used to play football and he moved to, I think it was Carolina or somewhere, to play football. And he's like, oh, my dreams. Like I was like a young 18-year-old, finally got in the team. And I played one game. Next thing you know, I got dropped out of the team, done. My whole career vanished before my eyes. And he goes, that was actually the best thing that I never did, because he goes, I just come back to the same city and I've sold out the WWE arena. I'm doing this acting, blah, blah. So it's like if he never not gave up, but that loss.
Yeah, if he didn't get dropped from his dream.
Was the best thing that ever happened. The best thing that he said, the best thing that never happened to him. And that's what I love as well. I'm like, sometimes like, maybe that was the best thing that never happened, you know? Like even one of my boys clarted it in crypto. He killed it in the bull run and then took some mad losses. And I think that kind of blinded his vision of trading. And I was lucky. I had that big win. I didn't get hundreds of thousands and then lose it. So I was like, at the time, I was like, why am I not making hundreds of thousands? Like, what? And then I might have stuck to a strategy that never worked. It was just, the market was just doing a mad thing. You know what I mean? But I'm now like, no, it worked that one time. I have to. So it's like, no, that loss was actually a reminder to be like, humble yourself, boy. You've been doing this for 6 months and you think you cracked it. What, you think that this is all it takes?
Yeah.
It's like, nah, bro. Like, you know what I mean? So.
No, it's incredible, honestly, and I think it's an act. You know, in terms of other people, they're going to be able to hear, because most people, they only do one thing. You know, in life, they normally only try one thing.
Yeah.
So a lot of people listening would have only tried trading, more than likely, or dabbled in little online stuff, not something such as a music career.
Yeah.
You know, especially a long-standing music career as well, and then to be able to translate the positives and negatives and the blueprint from both, and notice how they overlap. It's incredible. And, you know, talking about your music career, I know we've been talking about like how now you're seeing that, you know, that song that's popped off, but you have had songs in the past that have also done very well. How have you handled that though? Because obviously, you know, in trading, this is before trading, of course.
Yeah.
So with trading, as you said, it kind of helps because you realize that nothing just goes up.
Yeah.
Right. But obviously when you were going through that was before trading.
Yeah.
You were seeing these pushes up and then obviously seeing some, you know, maybe songs not do
I
as
saw
well.
a big decline. So I actually, funny, my first song, this is actually quite funny on this podcast. My first song that actually did really well was called Profits and Losses. And that's when I first started trading. But this is when I didn't actually know what I was doing. And then I ended up stopping after that because someone was trying to teach me and it was just terrible.
Okay.
But so that started doing really well. I then tried I've got my formula. I dropped a song called Why Am I High? That was like my biggest song up until recently. And I spent a year, I've had a few of these moments actually. Opposite Interest was my first actual big hit. And I've seen like, cool, like this, I think I've got it now. Boom, starting to dip down. I think I've got it now. Boom, like, you know, I'm making higher lows and higher highs, but I'm still not, I'm not there yet. I'm not seeing this consistent trajectory. It's literally like a up and then I am dropping off. And that is, as an artist, it's very hard to understand what is actually wrong, like, because the scene changes, you know, like sometimes it's like you don't know where your audience is, you don't know what they want. Like I'll drop a preview of a song and my fans are like, yo, this is a banger, and I'm like, all right, cool, like, yo, everyone loves this tune, I can't wait to drop this. I drop it and then there's like no one's on the live stream to watch it premiere, and I'm like, but didn't you guys say that you all I swear, this is the same song that I preview, right? And you guys all said this was a banger, no? And then I'm like, okay, so where is my fan base? Like, I really got to like double down on just like, is it the song? Is it the marketing? Is it the branding? What is it? But dealing with that is hard because you really look internally and think, I don't want to keep doing something that isn't working, but in the same breath, I don't want to be that guy that changes songs so many times and changes what I'm doing, just like a strategy.
Style and brand.
Yeah, like I don't want to just keep changing it. And I've done that. I've spent years doing that before. I did a Afrobeat song called Opposite Interest. That banged. Like, that did really well. On the streets anyway, that did really well. So I tried replicating that over and over in the studio, and they sounded terrible. Like, and then I dropped another song called Plaza, similar to that. It just didn't bang. And I'm like, but that's what they...
That's what they wanted.
Yeah, that's what they wanted, no?
Yeah.
Like, and I'm like, it's taken me a year to finally come up with another one. But yeah, so I was trying so hard to stay positive and just understand what's working, what's not, and really try and figure out, like, is this actually for me? You know, like, you got to be real with yourself and understand, is this career path actually something that I will literally cut an arm and a leg off in order to do? Like, will I give everything for it? And music, I love so much. It's my first, like, real outlet, you know? It's my first unique thing that is to me, you know? When I was, like...
So like, table tennis was like your dad's?
Yeah, in terms of my dad's, and then that was my thing, but, like, I wanted to be cool. Like, when I was in school, like, I always... Because of so many different schools and, like, the way I was back then, I just wanted to be cool and accepted. And then when I started the rapping, and I didn't actually get hate, I thought I was going to get mad hate. Like, I really thought I was going to get hate left, right, and center. And I just didn't get it. And I was like, bro, like, not that I did it based on that, but I was like, see, I thought I was good at this. Like, maybe have some more confidence in yourself. Let's do it again. And then let's do it again. And then let's do it again. And then, yeah, man. But when you have those bad periods, they can be detrimental to your life. Having one bad comment on a video, you know, like, or just anything can throw you off, but you just really got to have your vision, and the vision and that feeling that you want and that feeling of success, and that should outweigh everything, all the adversity, all the comments, all of the, you know, the failures, all of the dips that you go through. Like, that dream, as long as that stays alive and you actually act upon that, don't be oblivious to the things not working, actually act upon it. Keep trying new things. And then when you start seeing what's working, you need to know when that moment's coming. Like, when that moment comes, when things are starting to work, you have to be so ready for that, to be like, okay, can I appreciate it? Do you want to be stubborn and be like, again, somewhat relating to trading, if you tried a bunch of strategies, some's not working, you find something that does work, don't be stubborn and then be like, yeah, but like I am, if I'm honest with you at the moment, I'm like, yeah, but all of that stuff that I've learned, I kind of need to still implement that. And I know I'm good. So I'm going to be able to still take that trade, you know, that quick 1 minute scalp. I know I can do that, but it's like, but bro, you've literally just found something that has worked. Why not just park it? And that's my ego going, yeah, but you've spent so long learning this. You know you're good. Same with the music, you know, with the certain styles. I found something that's worked. I could suddenly go back to, like, singing and more hip hop rap and stuff, just because I'm like, yeah, but I'm a rapper, bro. Like, I can, you know what I mean? I can still make that. It's like, bro, but do you want something that works, or do you just want to do this for fun? Like, do you just want to, like, you know, just
keep going round and round,
do you want to just
little highs and lows? Exactly.
Do you just want to trade and just, like, yeah, like, you know, just have fun, like clicking buttons, or do you actually want to, like, become successful like this? And when you answer that question and be like, all right, cool, I actually need to do this, that's when you'll find that continued success. So yeah, that music right now, that's where I'm at. And trading, because I'm obviously a little bit fresher, I'm still trying to find, I think I found what works for me. This last, like, few months, I really think I found what works, but I'm still being stubborn. I'm still being stubborn and still doing what I used to do. Yeah. And it's fucking me up. So I'm trying to, like, take what I've learned from music and be like, don't be an idiot. Like, same way, I'm going to listen to this podcast back and I'm going to be like, bro, like, just listen to yourself. And
put it on repeat every morning.
Listen to yourself. Like, you know what to do. You know what I mean? Harry knows, isn't it? Like,
that's the thing. Most people are in the same position. They know what they're doing wrong. I've always said it as well. Like, we all know what we're doing wrong. Until we get that self-accountability to say, that's enough. Yeah, and I think it comes to, like, ultimatum moment. Kind of like with yourself. You said, okay, I can't do this no more with the music, right? Can't do it, right? Can't do it. And then you had that moment where you literally said, I'm going to stop, right? Yeah. But because it's that passionate, that real, and you actually truly want it, when you do that moment, then you realize, no, I just have to change.
Facts.
Right? And then look what happened. You changed and bang, the next one.
But I know you're the host, but, like, did you have that moment in trading where you kind of had that, like, I actually, like, fully, like, I know every week I say, this is the last time I'm trading on this time frame, or this is the last time I do this, but, like, and I do it again. But like, what was your moment that you?
So mine's quite like I think I've said it a couple of times, but mine is that I gambled or traded the rent money, right?
Okay.
So my rent money. Imagine I got a wife and a baby.
Yeah.
I got the rent money come in. It's during COVID times as well, and I was like, yeah, you're one of those like this trade's it's gonna be fine. Put $1,000 in, put the rent money in, and I'll flip it. I'll get the rent money out straight away. It's safe. It's safe.
Yeah.
So I did that, and as you can imagine, I blew that. I was gone. So then I have to have a conversation with my wife and say, the rent money's gone, babe. And I have to explain why did it go, because I was an idiot. I did something I knew I shouldn't have done, but I did it anyway because I'm being an idiot and I'm not listening and I'm not trying to actually be a professional. So basically I had to explain myself. And that was the ultimatum moment I gave myself, because I said to myself, look, you are a father and a husband. You can't be doing these silly mistakes. You can't you can't do this. You know what I mean? You can't keep putting X amount of money into trading just because you can, right? And you can't just keep thinking that one day it's just going to work. So I literally said to myself, you're either going to change or you just quit. You just go and do a 9 to 5 and you quit, because you can't keep doing that. So literally that was my moment, because obviously it was a very humbling experience, and it kind of had to settle the ego down to say to my wife, look, I blew the rent money. I say I'm good, I'm great, I'm going to smash it, I'm going to be a millionaire, I'm going to become successful, but then my actions are saying that I'm a gambler and that I don't know what I'm doing, and etc. So because of that moment, that's when things change, because I truly decided I'm going to change, otherwise I have to stop.
Do you feel that those moments are, you have to have a moment like that? Because I honestly feel like in any career or anything, particularly trading though, I feel like you have no choice but to almost, I wouldn't say hunt for that moment, absolutely not. But like everyone that I seem to speak to that has like a unique story or whatever, they have that moment where it is like pure and utter stress, pure and utter like my life is basically like over from this. Like not over to that extent, but like you've actually fucked up in such a way that you have to pick a path now. Like it's either full throttle or not. And like mine for music was seeing my stats go to the ground, like, and thinking, what am I doing? Like it's either I've said I'm gonna quit, but I said I'm gonna stay. All right, bro, this is it now. Same with your story. But do you feel like in trading you almost have to have that moment of like, I'm not saying like anyone listening take out a loan and then feel that moment, like, and then hopefully I'm fixed now. Yeah.
No, I think there is an element of it. I think really it comes down to that self accountability, right? And I think as humans we have to get to extreme levels at times to then hold ourselves accountable, right? Because it's when we're still comfortable, like with trading, like a lot of people will just throw in, let's say they have in excess £200 extra per month, they'll just keep putting that £200 into a challenge or into an account, right? They won't think about, let me save, or let me do this, let me do the positive things. Instead, their first thought will just be, I can afford £200, I'll keep doing it. Until they do something like I did, where it's a money that they can't afford to lose. And it would make a drastic mistake, or make an epic mistake where they will have to struggle or face the consequences of this repeated negative action, right? So I think that extreme situation breeds self-accountability. So in one element, yes, but like, it doesn't, like, it won't work if someone's purposely done it, right? Because it can't be on purpose, because then you've done that. Right? It won't work that way. But if you've found yourself there, or you put more focus on being more accountable to yourself, and that's not something we're naturally born to do. Like we're not taught to be accountable of your actions. Don't think about why are you doing this, or why are you doing that, or why is it that your actions are impacting and creating this reality for your life.
Facts.
So,
My reaction to that moment. And this is what, like, I maybe it wasn't such a conscious decision, but again, it's similar to trading, where in that moment, I guess that you were in, it's not just looking at like the negatives of like, why did all these songs not work? It's going back over what worked from the songs that did well, and just really taking it, like I said, the key word, accountability, and just being like, be real with yourself. If you don't know who I am, you don't know my music, you've got 3 seconds or 10 seconds to listen to the song. What is it that's making you listen? Like, be real. What you're wearing in that video, you're wearing a white t-shirt and jeans, bro. Come on. The camera angle was not panning in the right way in that first 10 seconds. So why is anyone going to carry on watching it? Why? Is the hook grabbing you straight away? No, you're right. It's not. All right, cool. Well, you need to do that in the next song. And it, like, you know, with the trading, it's focusing on not just cutting out the shit, which is everyone's thing. My thing, you know, everyone I know is, yeah, I'm a good trader. I just need to cut out the shit. You know what I mean? Everyone says that. But it's like, it's not just that. It's focusing on what's good and then just sticking to that. Sounds so easy. It sounds so easy.
The thing is again, it boils back to that accountability, right? And it's like you said, though, when you focus on what works for you, that's what's going to work. Because the issue is that people keep looking elsewhere, right? Or they're learning from different people, which is fine. Like, learn from people, of course. Like, have mentorship, have education. That's no problem. The issue is, though, that they keep thinking it's going to be carbon copy, right? They don't take into account their personality, their viewpoint, how they see things, right? And the reality is, like, I've had people who've learned from me, right? They've learned from me, they're consistent, but they don't trade exactly like me, right? They use elements, but they'll have their own elements too. And that's how it works. And I don't think there's a single person who I've taught who's successful who is a carbon copy of me. Right? And I wouldn't expect them to, because unless they were like a twin or something, you know what I mean? It wouldn't work, because they will only be able to perceive things in how they do, right? They might have a different routine. They might have a different risk appetite, right? And what it boils down to, how do you like work out what's for you and what's not, is literally what you said. Focus on what is working for you, what has worked, right? So for me, for example, if I use like a personal experience, I don't trade like aggressively or at all most of the time Mondays or Fridays.
That's my
right?
Come on, that's my new. I don't trade Mondays no more. That's my.
But it's probably, I recognize it from my pattern. Well, there'll be some people who hear me say that and then be like, I'm not trading Mondays now. But then if they look to their data, Monday might be their best day. Right? Because I know people like that, where Monday is their best trading day. So obviously me not trading
Fridays are my best, but a lot of people are like, I don't trade Fridays. I'm like, Fridays for some reason for me work, so I'm gonna continue to do it.
That's
like,
it.
Yeah.
But that's the right choice. While some people hear other people saying Fridays, no good, and then you'll be like, okay, no more Friday. But if you were to listen to everyone, we wouldn't trade at all. Monday to Friday closed.
Facts. I honestly, like that. If someone's going to take one thing away from this podcast, I would honestly say, like, understanding when you're winning, or understand, not necessarily the word winning, but understanding what works for you is the most important thing, because I felt like I had to understand and criticize myself and understand what doesn't work my whole life with sport, trying to tune stuff and, like, oh, my backhand, I need to get my backhand better. It's not good. But it's like doubling down on actually what is working is, if you could do it from young, that's a talent in itself. There's a lot of kids in school that, I don't know, they start businesses when they're like 17, 18. I'm like, how did you do it? It's such a simple idea. Anyone can do that. But bro, they've started doing it. It's worked. And they've literally just carried on doing it. 10 years later, they're in the Forbes top 30 list. And you're like, didn't I know that kid from school? And he was just doing that little thing. And it's like, bro, just focus on what works, man. That is a talent in itself. And because of my sporadic lifestyle of like schools and all this, I think that's what hindered me at the start of my music career, because I was always trying to do different things and not focusing on just, bro, if it works, run with it. And that's what I'm trying to do now. Whatever works, I run with it until the wheels fall off and I figure out, okay, cool, how can I tweak it here and there to make it better? But just stop focusing on the negatives. And I'm trying to now do that with my trading. Because there's a lot of stuff I do right. It's just I don't focus enough on it. I had one for you, I have one for you, actually. But it's a conversation, really. But I guess one thing that I'm really kind of like battling with at the moment, not battling, but just trying to juggle, is obviously I'm doing the music. I'm doing 9 to 5. Like I'm, like trying to learn to trade. Also trying to keep like my health in check. Like I put on a lot of weight in lockdown. Also relationships, family, misses and that. Like how do you figure out how to like handle all of your stresses other than just, going to the gym? Like how do you, as a trader and just as an entrepreneur in general, with your podcast and stuff, how do you balance, what, sorry, I'm rambling, but when people say like with trading, like always try and do other stuff, always try and keep, but when you do the other stuff, it can be stressful, and then not just stressful, but time consuming. And then you're like, but I need to focus more on trading. So your weeks can get quite sporadic, especially if you're an entrepreneur. So like, how do you balance it? Because I feel like I don't know if I do it the right way. Sometimes I feel like I'm doing it correctly and I'll have swings of things, but I need more consistency. Like, how do you manage your, I guess, being an entrepreneur whilst also trading? You know what I mean?
No, 100%. It's a good question, and it's one that a lot of people struggle with, even myself. Up until probably maybe mid last yearish, I was struggling with it too. Like, how do you manage like, fatherhood with being a partner, with being a husband, with obviously teaching, with trading, with the podcast, with my own gym and help, So you come 100% like you always, the analogy I like to use is the spinning plates. You ever seen those people with spinning plates? I always say like, look, that's how it's going to be, where they can all be up and they're all spinning, they're all being efficient. Sometimes the one's going to need more attention, otherwise it's going to fall, right? So let's take for yourself, for example, sometimes you'll need, the music will require more time from you. Maybe there's a release coming soon. Yeah. Maybe you're just in your sort of creative flow at that time. So you need to be dedicated to the music, right? Yeah. But then equally, maybe that's booming, release has happened, it's going well, you don't need to do anything, you just enjoy the fruits of the labor on that side. But then you're trading. You want to focus on that now. Okay, you got the time, you got the clarity, focus on that. Alongside that, then relationships-wise and gym-wise, these things are important, especially the gym, obviously, in terms of health, because at the end of the day, if you don't have the health, you can't do anything else, right? Yeah. If you lose the health, you can't do the music, you can't do the trading, the relationship won't be as good or anything. So the health is like the foundational one. That one's, I would say, is a little bit easier, especially once you started and you're getting that consistency down. That one's a bit easier to be able to just slot into the day as and when. But really, the truth is, in my opinion, you won't have a balance. Right? Yeah. What you have is like a straight line.
I agree.
Right? And you'll have oscillations. Sometimes when things are feeling very heightened and it is all a million miles an hour, that's going to happen. And the oscillations are faster and a bit further away from the straight line. The straight line is that balance.
Yeah.
Right? You just have to, especially with trading side, right? You have to tone it back, right? Say, okay, too much going on. Mind's not clear. I'm not trading. Because obviously what's going to happen is you're going to bring that energy into your trading every time, right? It's why I literally did a voice note the other day about a domino effect. And I was basically saying like, what normally happens when I've had like a losing streak or bad decisions in trading, it literally happened to me last week. And it hasn't happened for a while. But basically I had like an argument with my partner the night before, went to sleep, bad sleep because of the argument, right? Wake up, already feeling off, right?
Bad sleep's one of the worst.
Exactly, yeah, it really is. It really is. And then, so those three knocked into, now trading wise, I was like, okay, I set a trade. It was to the plan, everything. And I said to myself, don't check this trade. You're going gym now. Don't check the trade when you go to the gym, right? Just set and forget. What did I do? I checked the trade, at the gym. And then I did one of those classic, but this could be going long now. And there's news coming out soon. Okay, let me cut. I stayed in the short, luckily. But I was like, let me get into a long quick, right? So I got into a long, which I never do, right? I stick to my plan. I did it though. And for me, literally, when I reflect, I realize that when these things happen normally, it's because of a domino effect. And our job really as a trader is to recognize when one domino is like falling and maybe the next one's about to fall, and then it's slowly leading towards your trading. Sometimes it might actually be the trading that's the first domino. And it might then seep outside trading. So like you have a bad day trading, suddenly you have an argument with your partner by the end of the day, right? Sometimes it might be that. But normally when it comes to actually having really bad days in trading, like the tilt, like the blowed accounts and stuff, it's normally started outside. So our job is to be accountable enough and aware enough to be like, okay, look, it's falling. Let me take that domino out. The momentum stops there.
Facts.
Right?
Facts.
Trading doesn't get harmed. It gives me maybe overnight to relax and then be calm again. Facts. Maybe a week, whatever it may be. And it's the same with that balance. Like things are going to happen. Like we're not going to be just traders forever. And even if you are a trader, at the end of the day, there's stuff in real life, your health, your relationships, data, getting stuck in traffic could even be one of those dominoes, right? Yeah,
definitely.
So
I found, which is a very current scenario. So I got funded in October. The song dropped, had a terrible first month. Like the typical
the song or the
the trading.
The trading. Yeah.
So first month terrible. Like I'm not gonna. This is me not trying to make excuses, but my life is now crazy. Like I'm doing this interview. I'm doing this promo, this video. So my day-to-day structure is just not there. I shouldn't have been trading. But I had to learn from that. Then after December was a bit more chilled for me. Family time, whatever. Boom. I took it from like 10% to 12%, right? So I'm 10% to like plus 5%. Cool, boom. I'm like, cool, get a quick payout.
Yeah.
Woo. I'm like, all right, I'm back. Don't worry, people. Like in routine. Next thing you know, I've got the remix that's dropped with Young Gravy. I've had to fly to LA, having label meetings. Like I'm doing promo. I'm literally in the studio basically every day. I'm smoking every day. So I'm like, my head's all over the place. Like completely fucked it. And I look back and I go to myself like, you knew that your life was sporadic at that moment in time. You knew that things were, you're moving as well. I'm moving into a new place. Like, but maybe my ego's like, no, but I can handle it. I should be able to handle it. If I want to be a trader or something, I should be able to. But again, like what we were saying earlier, what worked? Well, what worked was when I had structure in my life, when I had that line and I was close to the line. When it was diverting a lot, that's when you need to be like, put your pride aside, step back and just be like, I am actually not going to perform in this moment in time. Don't think that you are, which I did was, I thought I was better than what most people could handle because I just feel like I can do it. Like, I just think I could do it, but it just doesn't. Unfortunately, it never really does work out that way. Like, I'm the same with you.
Well, the thing is that you're still doing it though. See, most people aren't consistent in trading. Most people aren't doing a music career and doing it successfully. Yeah. Most people aren't in the gym, right? Most people haven't got a relationship that's working. Yeah. So like just that single environment, that single example, most people aren't doing. Yeah. So the fact then you have 4 of them, right? Yeah. By themselves, even if they're not intertwining, is already beyond what most people are doing. Yeah. And it, like you said though, perfectly, is like it's our ego of thinking I can do this, right? And I need to do this. Not only that, is like I need to make money there, and there. Yeah. Right. When in reality, and this is why trading, a lot of people have a sort of fantasy of like, I will always trade forever, right? Yeah. Every single week, every single month, every single day. And don't get me wrong, there might be some people, some small number of people who only ever trade because they don't do anything else. And remember, like trading is literally just you by yourself. Yeah. Right? So then they might be a lonely person too. So they have no relationships. That's all they do. Small number of people. The reality though is, obviously, a lot of traders nowadays, they're like in their 20s, teenagers in their 20s, maybe early 30s. A lot of them don't have a partner. A lot of them don't have kids. When you just introducing those elements, already time is taken from you. Yeah. Right? And attention has to be, if you're going to be a good father or a good husband, for example, you have to be able to provide attention and priority to them. Yeah. So automatically, just that, without a business, without a job, just that, you have taken the time away from trading, right? But the reality is most people get into trading, but they also have other passions. Yeah. So they love trading, but they want real estate. They want a restaurant. They want any other type of business, That's going to take time. Yeah. And the beauty is, there's no problem. The problem is, though, when you think, I need to make money from all of them at once. When the reality is, trading, let's say when the real estate project's in the works and you don't need to do anything, you're hands off, trading can make me money and the real estate then, right? But when the real estate needs you to be on site, needs you to sign off on things, needs your attention, the reality of you doing that and trading, it's not going to be there. You're going to mess up one, right? Or maybe both. Normally what happens is a domino effect, bad trading, then you mess up this deal, you're bringing bad energy to this deal over here, and then suddenly both aren't working out. Yeah.
It's very true. That's something that I'm trying to battle with, and it's horrible when all of them are not working, when the trading's not doing well and the music's not doing so well. Like just before She's a 10 Bot, it was like, bro, it was such a hard time for me, man. Like such a low point in my life where I'd started, I'm like banging this out. I swear to God, I've watched like every video on YouTube. I've done like 7 courses. I'm like, and why is it not working? And I'm like, I'm stressing out, but you have to take that step back and be like, there's a time and place for it, innit? Like, I think I've learned enough now to a point where I don't need to watch any more courses. I just need to now, like, I know what I've got data as well to be like, bro, you know what works, stick to it. Same with the music. You've got the data, stick to it.
That's it.
And I appreciate the advice on that because I'm a strong believer in, there's waves of focus. Yeah. Like the gurus out there will tell you like, no, every day. You do this every day. Like, you don't care. Your wife wants to come home and cook a meal. Tell her, shut the fuck up. You know what I mean? Like, no, I'm not putting the kids to bed tonight. It's your job. It's 7 o'clock. Like, no, there's waves of everything. You can't, and don't beat yourself up if you don't stick to a routine. Yeah. You know what I mean? It's life.
It's like you can have some form of structure, but that structure has to be, to be flow. You know? It needs to be like you said, like chameleon. It needs to be able to adapt because each day will be different. Something will throw. Life will throw a challenge at you.
And I don't live my life like that either. Like my life. I've been brought up as a sporadic person, so I'm not saying that you should do that, but like allow room to, because no one wants to be a robot. As much as trading, you have to try and be a robot. Like in order to be successful, you have to try and take the emotion out and be a robot. But, just
You're still a human. You still
Yeah.
need some form of intuition at times as well.
Exactly.
Because the charts don't just present the exact same trade and look the exact same every time. It could even have the same. What I like to explain is, if you have an edge and an entry plan, every trade should be identical in terms of when you tick them off. How it looks, though, is going to be completely different each
But
time.
the yearly might be different. You know?
No, yeah.
You know what I mean?
Exactly.
So-
That's what I mean. Like the candles and how they form will be different.
Yeah,
But the actual confluences will be the same. Like this liquidity, this time frame, blah, blah, blah. But the way it actually looks could be completely different.
Yeah.
And that's the hardship, because again, that's where the intuition will come in. Because if a robot needs it to look the identical,
Yeah.
otherwise, even though it will work out, or it may not work out, but it's identical, right?
Facts.
But the fact is, it's not going to look identical. It's going to look very different.
Do you think maybe that's why algorithms in trading, loads of people are making out? Do you reckon that's why it's not really become
didn't
like
work long time.
like
Yeah.
I don't know many people that have done algo trading and they're still here.
Yeah.
You know
I
what
think
I'm saying?
it's like AI will change it, because then AI will be able to rewrite itself and adapt.
That's scary though.
But before then, that's the reason, because once you have a market shift, that's normally when the algos then blow, because then it's not able to adapt to this new market, changing volatility, changing this. But once it's able to rewrite itself in real time, we'll be able to adapt. That's when we'll probably see some massive shifts. Don't get me wrong, it probably already exists. Right? It's just not been fed down to us yet.
Yeah, no, definitely.
But I was going to say to you, you mentioned smoking earlier, right? And something I for years, I remember there was one song that I listened to of yours. You talked about an eighth a day.
Yeah,
I was smoking 2.5 eighths a day
Mad.
at one point, right? And I used to think it was cool. When I lived here in Nottingham, and I used to think it was cool. And only later on did I realize that it was really mashing me up.
Yeah.
It really messed with my head. How has it been for you?
So I've got if you listen to my music, all of my old projects like Why Am I High and stuff like that, like a lot of people think that like I'm a stoner and I love smoking weed. The reason why I've made the song like Why Am I High and all of these songs, I've got a battle here. Like I don't know why I'm actually smoking so much. With smoking, I've had like a long journey. So I've been bunning since I was 17. No, I've smoked before then, but like properly every day I smoked for, I clocked it, was 10 years. Yeah, I smoked every single day.
Wow.
Now, at the start, there was a lot of positives. So there was a lot of like, it was something that, because I didn't really take anything else. Like I just drank here and there, as you do. But like it was something that gave me creativity. Also, when I'm with all the man them, like there's like 10 man, like we're all in some shithole, like absolute shithole, like all smoking on the sofa, and I'm having an amazing time. And it was like there's been a lot of good things that have come out of it. However, like in terms of memories and songs that I've made, which has been great, but I think a lot of, and I still smoke now, don't get it twisted, I still smoke, but just not every day now. But there's a lot of negatives that I think a lot of people don't actually take into consideration. And if you're a stoner right now and you smoke every day and you're listening to this, first of all, ask yourself the question, can I quit? Most of you will say yes. 100%. You'll say yes, but I don't want to. 100%. But the fact is that if I told you, all right, cool then, well, for the next week, just don't smoke. It's like, yeah, but I don't really want to. Or you will tomorrow, and then when it gets to 7 p.m. when you get home from work, you're like, I've got nothing else to do, might as well bun a zoot. But what I've realized is over the course of all these years, my personality changed, where I thought my life was terrible. Like, so I had a lot of if you listen back to a lot of my old music, so like Chasing Dragons and all these things, like it's all about smoking, because it's a lot about like chasing a high. It's about trying to figure out what is it, like best life freestyle, wanting my best life, but it's all depressing. And I started thinking, yeah, life is just whack. Like, like I hate my job. I hate all this. But the thing is that the thing that I was doing to stop myself from feeling depressed, which was smoking, was actually making my anxiety when I wasn't high worse. And I wasn't acting on a lot of it. So I don't like the narrative of, stoners are bums. Like, I don't like that narrative because it's not always true. However, what I would say is that when you are smoking every single day or very consistently, you often get clouded by the reality of situations. So you might have, a stressful week, right? That your sober self, your consistent sober self might be able to deal with quite well, or it might not be that deep. You might think about it, whatever. Your stoner self, well, when you're sober, you're like, oh, like I'm just bare stressed out. I need to bun a zoot later tonight. And then when you do bun that zoot, you don't solve the problem. The problem is still there. You just now don't think about it. You watch some TV, maybe you back test or whatever you may do. And then your next day comes, but then you wake up, oh, I'm a bit groggy, cracking on with my day. It's not because of the weed, it's just because I had a bad sleep. And you make excuses. And what I found was every day I was waking up, I was trying to do stuff in the day in order for me to have time to smoke later that night. And I found that if I would have spent, if I didn't smoke so much, right, this is in hindsight, it's obviously easy to say, but I reckon I would have started trading 4 years prior to when I did start, just because I could have spent an hour a day watching a video. But instead, I thought, oh, now I've got free time, I might as well bun a zoot. Do you know what I'm saying? And what I realized is my personality, how I handle situations was completely different when I was sober, not sober and not smoking versus sober and I'm smoking at night. I just noticed myself. I used to be such a bubbly person. I used to feel like when I was younger, I'm a really open. I'm really like, you know, I always thought I'm very open with my feelings. Turns out now I'm in a relationship, I realized, wow, my love language is like not, I'm not a speaker. I'm not like that. I'm a what is it? A doer, you know, like I do good deeds for people. Like I always try and help people. That's my thing. I've only just recently started saying, sounds mad, but like the last 4 years, I've only just started saying like, love you to people. I've struggled with that my whole life. I've never been able to say it ever. It's just like, even hugging like my family and stuff, I've never been able to say like,
I'm not
love
a big
you.
hugger either.
Yeah, like I've always thought, why when I hug like my parents, like, do I literally not want to do it? Bro, I'm 28 years old, bro. Like, what are you doing? Like, grow up. You're not 13. So, and I realized that I've prolonged this period and I've been shut off and I've not been able to dive into, you know, who I am as a person and how I learn, how I respond to situations, how I am in a room. And that's not because of when I'm high, it's when I'm not high. Like, that's the issue, is when I'm smoking at night and the next day I'm sober throughout the day. But that period in the day, because weed is in my system constantly, I've got this anxiety. And a lot of people just don't deep that it's because you're smoking. It's because you're smoking, basically. Like, it doesn't matter that you're not high or high. It's the fact that it is a daily thing that you are doing and that your brain is used to, that you are
rewired the pathway.
Yeah, you've completely rewired it. Like, you know, they say, like, what is it? It's like, was it 3 months to break it? Or what's it to break a habit? What is it? 3 weeks, 8 weeks to break a habit, or something like that.
I think to form it properly, I think it's like 12 to 16 weeks.
Yeah, exactly. And I almost I had a couple panic attacks, so that was my catalyst for quitting. I had like these crazy panic attacks that I went to the doctors for. I thought it was a heart attack. Like, I'm sweating loads. Like, I literally was shaking. Like, I had this numerous times, and I thought there was something wrong with my heart, but it wasn't. It was, and I'm like, but I'm not stressed though when I'm having this. Like, why am I having this moment when I know that I'm calm? I know, but now I can't feel my hands, and I'm like, but I'm fine. So I always thought a panic attack was a mental thing where you're like, oh, you know, I'm worried about this, and I wasn't. I'm like, but my body's reacting, and that made me really think about just how I am on it, how this has affected me, because I've never been like that. I've never been like that in my life, and I think just over time, it just
collecting all this baggage.
Yeah, so much baggage, and the way that I respond. So I actually took like 3-4 months off smoking. With music, as much as I don't want to say I have to smoke to do music, but in certain environments with music, I do get really good music out. I do. So I'm trying to battle at this moment in time between like, when can I smoke and when can I not? Because I fall into the pit of like, that was a 6 studio session yesterday. I made a banger and I've still got some loud left over. I might as well bun it tonight and tomorrow because it's the weekend. And then Monday I'll crack on. But Monday comes and I'm not supposed to be trading on Monday. And I'm not smoking. Now I'm thinking my anxiety's playing up a little bit.
Feeling heightened, yeah.
Yeah, so now I'm like, all right, cool. Well, you need to crack on today because you're not smoking. You need to be productive. What can you do? Let's chop up the charts. Cool, just for Tuesday. Oh, but wait a minute. It's 2 o'clock and it's just about to hit this 1 hour order block. Okay. All right. No, you've got this. This is still a setup, but now my anxiety's playing up.
That domino effect taking place.
Exactly. Yeah. If I wasn't smoking and I had a clear mind and I wouldn't have over deep this situation, I would have thought about it once, boom, and then moved on. And the thing is with smoking is, the best way I can describe it is when you have anxiety, it's a bunch of thoughts that aren't necessarily connected that are all here, and you choose to go down this rabbit hole. When you're smoking and you're high, you don't necessarily have all. Sometimes some people with me, I don't have all these thoughts. I have one thought that I dive into. Like I have one thought, and that's why I smoke, to stop the whole oh, this is that. But the reason why I have that all this and that is because I smoke. So it's this cycle of like, oh, I need to stop all these thoughts, life stress, all this.
Smoke. Yeah.
Oh, okay, cool. Oh, what? Oh, this mic is like so nice, and like but if my sober state would just be like, oh, cool mic, next, you know, and that affects my trading, it affects my music, it affects the stress, everything. And I think as someone that, for me, like, I want to trade, like, this is like, I actually love trading as much as music, which is crazy to say, but like I never thought I'd have this, but I'm blessed to have this. But I love it so much. If I really want to get the best version of myself in life, I have no choice but to completely cut it down. Like, even if it's months at a time or whatever, but like I had the best through 4 months of my life in my careers, both careers, trading and music, from like just before October and whatnot. I don't know if it's a coincidence that I stopped smoking at that point in time when I made Cheese of Timber. I don't know if it's a coincidence that I got funded. I don't know if all these things, I'm not too sure.
I don't think it is. Like, me personally, when I stopped from smoking every day, what I realized was, because I was doing a very similar thought process where it was like, I needed to get high to then be able to escape this shitty life. Yeah. And this, you know, everything's the same, everything's mundane. Even though, like, when I say shitty life, it's not like I had a bad life.
Yeah, yeah.
It's not like I was struggling or anything. It was literally just, you know, what do you do to enjoy in this life? It's all the same. Like, you know, we go cinema, but the cinema's the same. You just sit and watch a TV. We go to a restaurant, but it's the same restaurant. It's just food.
I used to see my dad coming home from work, and I think, what? So you just sit in front of the TV? Is that like? And then how do you just go sleep, bro? That's dead. Like,
and then that's why I'd be like, I have to smoke weed, or I have to drink, or I have to do these things, because these are, you know, at least then you can chill. Yeah, you can switch off. This is the only way to enjoy life. I had convinced myself of this. And then what would happen is, obviously, when I wasn't high or wasn't smoking, then I would be questioning life. I'd be like, this is so shit, so terrible, you know? Or like you said, like trying to do things as fast as possible to then smoke again. Yeah. And what I realized when I stopped was, one, my clarity of mind and like the way I'd be able to actually articulate my words and thoughts increased massively.
You don't internalize things before you say it.
Yeah.
You don't. That's a big thing that I've personally felt is when I meet new people. So I've had to like have cameramen in the car, or like, you know, artists and whatnot. And when I'm smoking all the time, I'm not high right now, but I'm just generally smoking. I'm thinking to myself, even like today, for example, I might be like, all right, cool. What do I say to Riz? Oh yeah, does he live in Notts? Like, or like what? Okay, maybe ask him how's trading been this week? Or no, just say it. Don't deep it, just say it. And that will also, having that mentality and being in that mind frame will allow you to take opportunities because you don't think about them, or not take opportunities because you're not over deep in them. So exactly that's a massive thing there. When you're not smoking, you have that ability to just be more open, be more vocal, be more you. And that's what I wanted to be. I just wanted to be more of me, because I just felt I was starting to just become drowned out in my own sorrow. Like, and I don't like that. I don't like thinking that the Rothschilds are trying to take money out of my bank account. Do you know what I mean? And I found that I started looking into way more conspiracies. I started finding reasons why Boris Johnson's fucking me over, you know, like, why is this? And I'm like, the world's just shit. But then you're like, well, I'm a victim. I've got now a victim mentality, because I'm like, life's just shit because of X, Y, Z. So I'm going to bum my zoot because I'm smarter than the rest of the world. And the unfortunate reality is, I don't like to say it because a lot of my followers are actually like this, but you will smoke weed and think that just life has dealt you a terrible pack of cards. And that's just the way the world is. And it's horrible out there. And just do what you can, bun your weed. But it's like, no, cool. If you want to smoke a little bit. But if you are thinking that this whole world and life has dealt you these terrible pack of cards and there's nothing you can do about it,
well, you're just fucked. Like, and if you want to change, if you think there's a small chance that you could actually make an amazing life and all these things might not affect you, then try it. Just try not smoking. Like, just try it. And if you can't, then you've got a problem. If you can't, if you're listening to me right now and you're going, okay, cool, I could quit tomorrow, but what's the point? Like, there's genuinely no point. I've got, I don't know, whatever. If you can't, then I'm telling you right now, you've got a problem and you need to stop it.
Yeah.
Like, trust me, because if you can't make that decision, the weed is making a decision for you. And I don't care what anyone says. Listen, everyone knows that I smoke, whatever. Weed is addictive. End of. Whether you think it's a physical addiction, which it is, but it's more mental. Trust me, try life without bunning for a month. Like, it sounds a mad thing. I went a day and I was telling everyone. I was like, I haven't smoked weed in 24 hours. Like, imagine that. I'm telling random people that I know and they're literally looking at me like, this guy's like, what? Like, 24 hours? Like, what the fuck? You know what I mean? And I'm like, yeah, like, it's been 2 days now. Like, what? But that, again, in itself is fucked. Like, how are you gassed about not smoking for 2 days? You know what I mean? So, yeah, like, trust me, I've learned this myself. My life has, like, changed a lot from having now I'm not saying I've quit, but I have the ability to stop smoking for 2 weeks, for a month, whatever it may be. I can actually just stop now. And that's taken more control over my life now. Like it's taken away that control over my life, which is...
So you have that self-empowerment, self-control.
And I think a lot of people that want to develop in their life, or just if you don't know what to do in your life, you have no idea what you want to do, but you want to be successful, you want to better yourself, and you are smoking every day or consistently smoking, try that as one thing. If you haven't got the money to go to the gym, or well, you can still go for a run and that, but like...
Well, the thing is, though, if they haven't got the money for the gym, how have they got the money for the weed?
Yeah,
It's not like it's cheap.
No, exactly. And I just think if you can make those decisions and make those sacrifices, those small but big sacrifices in your life that to outsiders might seem small, but to you it's a big deal, just know that you're doing it for the greater good. And you won't see the first 3 to 5 days of you quitting are going to be horrible. Like mine actually was the 3rd day was the worst. First day, couldn't really sleep, whatever, but I tried to pick a day to stop that I was tired. So I was like, I am tired. Let's go to bed now before I want to smoke or whatever. I KO'd. Woke up next day. I'm like, raw, I actually did that. Next day was super hard. 3rd and 4th were pretty hard. But then after that, you're like, you will feel it. Like, you will notice socially you're a bit different. You're now starting to think, what do I do with my day? And when you're smoking, you will feel like a lot of time you smoke out of boredom. Like a lot of the time you get home, you're like, what do I do now? All right, cool, I've done everything, might as well smoke. The anxiety you get when you're like, I can't smoke now, what do I do? That's actually a good thing. Let that seep in. Be bored. Be bored, because then you might, if you're a trader, for example, I might backtest for 15 minutes. But that 15 minutes could change everything. If you do 15 minutes a day, what the fuck? You know what I mean? You might go, oh, I might as well go for a run because I'm just feeling catty. But that run, cool, now you're getting fitter. Or you know what, I might watch one video on how to build a business. Bro, that's something that you learned that you didn't know before. So it's these small little things that even 15 minutes a day, imagine that you've now killed your whole night because you've been bunning, or you might have been bunning and then watch these same videos. In the moment, you're like, I've got it. Writing these notes down. Next day, you forget it all.
Whole different frame of mind.
Yeah. So, like, trust me, like, I'm a big advocate for if you are bunning every day and you want to better yourself in some shape or form and you're trying all these other things in your life, like me, I tried so many other things in my life to better myself. And I was like, nah, it's just, my life's just whack. It's just shit. It's just a shit life. No, bro, try it, because I've coped better with working shit jobs that I hate. When I was thinking 9 to 5, I'm at work. I hate this so much. I'm crying. Like I'm aggravated. I want to punch up my boss. Come home, bun a zoo. It's all better. But when I'm not bunning, I'm actually coping with my day a lot better because I know what the end goal is. I'm like, nah, I just need to crack on with this today. Like, let's do it. So I strongly advise, yeah, man, if you are smoking every day, cut that shit out for a week. If you can't do it, that's a reason why you need to do it.
That's it, yeah. 100%. Couldn't agree more. And it's good for people to hear it from people who've done it, experienced it. Because a lot of the time when people have negative opinions of weed, for example, it's normally for someone who might not have even smoked it before, or maybe only tried it once back in the day.
But also, it's a lot of the time from people that don't smoke. Like, I'm not telling you that I don't smoke weed anymore at all. Like, I still smoke here and there. Like, and like, I smoked like this week. I smoked like a few times. Oh, it's a Monday today, but like not a few times this week. Last week. Yeah. But like, I'm not that guy that's gonna say, "Oh man, I used to smoke 3 5s," or you know, I was the man. Like, and it. No, I'm saying that, like, I'm telling you from someone that does it now and someone that has seen both sides of the argument.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, the negatives outweigh it, and but you won't realize it until it's years gone by that you then go, oh, no, this is just me. Is it? Is it just me or not? No, this is just me. I'm just depressed. I've got anxiety. I've got social anxiety. No, bro. If you were to cut out that weed, it can change a lot. You know what I mean?
Definitely. It's worth a try anyway. You know, as you said, just as a personal challenge of what you can do, like as most people would say, is, yeah, I can quit any time. But the reality is, why don't you then just do it for a month?
Yeah.
Just to prove to yourself you can. But the reality is that most won't, or will then hopefully realize that they have an issue.
And if you can do that, just imagine what else you can do, because you do this every single day for enjoyment. Just imagine what you can do if you can knock this habit and actually crack this just deep. Like, if you're a trader, if you're a footballer, whatever, if you can make that decision in other areas of your life as well, which are not going to be as hard, because quitting is hard. If you can actually make those decisions in other areas of your life, like, life can, like, your trajectory can go on a mad thing. You get 100%. Me? So yeah, and it's just to relate back. I wasn't bunning a lot at the time that I made that song, and I think if I was bunning a lot at that period in my life, I think I might have overdeeped that collab, overdeeped that song, or not dropped it because I was like, oh, it's not like my other songs, or so like. And I didn't think that at the time. Maybe it was, maybe it wasn't that. I don't know. But all I can say is there's weird correlations with me not bunning and certain areas of my life improving. So definitely. Try.
We'll keep up the trial.
Yeah, exactly, man, exactly.
But you know, in terms of trading and also the music industry as well, is that you have to perform under pressure, right? Especially in trading, obviously, you're performing under immense pressure, and that's why a lot of people struggle, because they're not used to performing in any form of pressure in other areas of life. You know, you go and do, you know, you want to progress in the gym or your relationship, for example, it's always just you and another person. It's not immense amounts of pressure that's applied to it. Especially with music, for example, is direct pressure. You know, you're putting yourself out there, performing at shows, you know, immense pressure. For yourself, obviously, taking it one step back, you did the table tennis, no doubt. So I would imagine you would compete in front of crowds and stuff. Was that something, do you think, that benefited you to then be able to handle the music career and then now obviously into the trading career?
I think I've just, from young, from doing so many things, I've always had like I'm going to be successful and I don't really care what people think. In table tennis, there was a good 3-year period where I would get to finals and I would lose. Like, and my ability's there, everything, but I kept losing in finals. Like, I got a silver at the national championships. So like this was like under 16s. And my coach was like, listen, it's your mentality. And I didn't really understand it, because I'm like, don't get me wrong, I used to, like, when I was like 13, I used to like cry after games, or even in the game, I'm like, why am I losing? Whatever. And it actually really was my mentality. And when I really fixed that, it kind of clicked. But then with music, I think the pressure, it's a constant pressure of it always being there. And it's always this, when I drop a song, it's like this eureka moment. I actually always, this is a weird thing, like no one knows this about me, but whenever I drop a song, I'm actually usually really depressed that day, whichever song it is, because I have this, I want to drop it and it just gets 1 million views. I literally just want to drop it and instantly I see a mad response. Oh my God, my phone's blown. Oh, I'm getting like 50 missed calls, like of Universal. And then like Drake's just like DM me saying, sick song, bro. Like, that's what I'm always like in the back of my mind waiting for. And I don't get that in the first hour. I'm always deflated. So I guess, to be honest with you, I don't really handle the pressure that well. It's having just a high expectation of myself, but also knowing that the worst, I always just trying to think of what is the worst case scenario. So when I perform, I did a performance in Southampton that I was actually a support act for Be Young. And I've watched performances before, where there's do you know Fecky? don't know if you know Fecky.
I heard the name
Anyway.
actually. Yeah.
So years ago, I watched him support Rick Ross. Fecky was popping at the time, but he was at a Rick Ross concert, and he threw like £1,000 into the crowd. Yeah, just threw it into the crowd, and everyone still booed him. Everyone booed him. I've also watched. I've watched numerous people, get booed off stage. So I've then looked at that from on a performance perspective and gone, these guys are all support acts, yeah. These guys are killing it in the music game, killing it. Like they've made their money, they're superstars, and they're still getting booed off stage because they're just in the wrong environment. So I'm like, I can never, always remember that wherever you go for a performance, it's not your music. It could just be the crowd weren't here to listen to you. So just do it, enjoy it, and even if the worst case scenario is you get something thrown at you, just know that that's happened to all these other people. So the same way with I try and apply that to trading, where I'm like, I know you, for example, bro, the story you said, you've blown your account, you invested rent money. Well, bro, I know that if that was to happen with this, it's not the end of the world because other people have gone through this and happened. So I've tried to keep that mentality with my releases, but I'll be honest, it's fucking hard because it's pressure financially, reputation, everything. Your fans could just watch you drop a dead song and then be like, I don't actually rate him anymore, and you could just drop off the face of the earth. The algorithm might just fuck you. You know what I mean? There's so many things. But I guess dealing with it, the best advice that I could give would be have an expectation of where you want to be. Prepare for the worst, but expect the best, and just make sure that this is all for the greater good of your overall plan. You can't expect to, if you treat every song as an artist, treat every song like it's going to blow up, plan accordingly, make sure everything is on point as you can. And if it doesn't, just make sure that you know that you've presented it the best way I possibly can into this world, and that's it. Same with the trades. Have your plan. If it doesn't go to plan, it is what it is. But you can't expect every single time for it to bang. And it might take you, for example, with my songs, bro, I've only had, in my eyes, like 5 successful songs that I'm actually happy with the way that that's gone. Out of 75 songs I've dropped, 76 songs, I've only had like 5. And they've all been sporadic. It's not like I've just suddenly had this long thing and then suddenly the next 5 songs are just up and up and up. It hasn't gone like that. And the only thing that has kept me in the game is the bigger goal. What is the bigger? Why am I doing this? Why do I want to be successful?
Not the individual outcome, it's the overall.
Exactly. Do I just want, if I just wanted 15 million streams in 8 weeks, that's not a good enough goal.
Well, you've done that now. Now what?
Yeah, it's not a good enough goal. What is it, the greater good? I'm trying to prove to my 13-year-old self, you can make a sick life for yourself, and through adversity, through everything, show that I was working a dead 9 to 5. My boy took his own life. I was in exactly the same spot, but I'm trying to prove to myself that younger self of you, if you just listen to someone like me and I'm not saying follow my journey, but just know that I was in that shoes, you can actually make a life that you wake up in the morning and you're actually looking around and you just go to yourself, rah, I actually am excited for my day. And that's the main thing. I just want to wake up every day and be excited for my day. And I think that because I've experienced the complete opposite of that, of literally waking up and being like, why did I have to wake up? And I've been in that being like, that's what I do when I wake. I remember years and years of that. I've woken up and gone, I hate it. I actually
was that in the period where there was no purpose.
Yeah, no purpose. And I it's mad to say this, but I even weirdly to this day, even I've actually good dreams in my my nightmares. And it sounds so weird, but I don't want to wake up from that reality. I remember I had it's weird, it's just come to my mind, but I remember I met Thierry Henry in my dream and I had money and we went to this is a few years ago, but it's always stuck with me when I was in such a low position. And I met Thierry Henry and I had this money to go on. I was on this holiday and I can't remember what happened, but I woke up and I've never been so depressed in my life. And I was like, what, that was a nightmare because I'm here now. I'm broke. I've got I'm in overdraft in my account. I'm about to get charged for my overdraft and I've got no money to pay the overdraft charge. I'm working at this Chinese restaurant, literally drying dishes. I'm like, when does this change? Like, I don't want to wake up tomorrow to go to work. I actually don't want to. If you gave me the option to sleep for a week, or like, I'd take it, or even, it sounds mad, but like die peacefully. That is what I wanted at that time. And because I can't go 50 years of my life doing this every single day. I can't. Like, I don't have the energy in me. I just don't know how to die. Like, you know what I mean? And I don't know what happens after you die as well. So I'm like, like it's a real, you know, I'm just stuck, but I have to go to work. But then, yeah, like slowly over the years, like now I'm like, I'm actually excited. Like, I was excited to come today. I'm excited to release my next song. I'm excited. And I think you should chase that excitement. Like, what actually gets you excited? And if you don't know what that excitement is, just do something. Literally just do it, try it, and you'll know soon enough if you are excited to do that. But if you think anything is a good idea, the fact that you are thinking of that and you don't have access to that right now means it probably is a good idea. So don't overdeep it. Like we were saying earlier on the podcast, don't wait for that camera, that special camera equipment, that lighting. Just go and do it. Because if you can do it when you have nothing, that is something that you will, like, that could potentially become like a life-changing thing for you.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm so happy I'm out of that zone now, and I wish that one of my friends could see that I'm on the other end of it at the moment. Like, he unfortunately wasn't able to transition through that period in time, and it's mad because I was in that exact same mind frame. But now I just want to prove to like myself and my younger self, and also anyone that's followed my journey, or anyone that listens to my old music and my new music as well, and feels that same sense of just, I'm lost. I actually don't know what to do. I just don't know what to do. Trust me, like, it does get better. Like, it does get better, but if you just carry on smoking weed and you don't make any changes to your life, and you don't really, you know, try and wait for the perfect moment to take that leap, it will never happen. Like, that is the reality. It will never happen. So you either, are you really that depressed? You know, when some people come to you and they're like, I'm really down, bro, I just don't know what to do with my life. I don't like, it sounds mad. Maybe it's the harsh, like, cold-hearted older generation talk that my dad does, but I'd be like, I don't think you're sad enough. Because if you were, you'd be like, if you wanted a job, for example, in XYZ, you could go and you could literally go to that business and ask to speak to the owner and go and do it. Do you actually want it that badly? If you're a presenter, you don't have the equipment, you don't know how to do it. All right, cool. Do you want to go on TikTok and be a presenter, trader? Same thing. Could you learn off free content on the internet?
Yeah.
Absolutely. Like, traders have no excuse nowadays, just FYI.
Yeah,
But yeah,
100%. Yeah.
like that's what, like, how down are you?
Are you willing to do it? You know?
Yeah, like, are you actually at rock bottom? I don't think you're at rock bottom yet then, because you're not willing to do it. So shut up, stop whining to me, because you're obviously not there. Because if you were so sad, you would go do something about it. But you're obviously not hurting that much. That's what that's what I say, because I said that to myself. I was like, you're depressed as fuck right now. So you have to react. If there's no reaction, then maybe I'm not actually that depressed, you know? So yeah, it's a harsh thing to say, but I think sometimes I have to ask myself that question, and also ask, you know, just like with the music, it was going so shit. I had to be like, what's the reaction here? Am I actually happy with this? Maybe I am happy with this, and I just want to be any artist that just makes a song here and there, you know, releases it, and I'm like, no, I'm actually like stressing. So what the fuck are you gonna do about it? And like with trading right now, bro, I had a terrible month. It's like, this is not. I need to react. I need to just figure out what the fuck is going on, because this is not gonna happen. I deserve a better life. I deserve to be successful. I've done it in other things in my life. I'm gonna do it again. So fix up. You get me? So
make those changes.
Yeah, exactly.
Definitely, man. And we're coming towards the end of the pod. I'm just going to, normally I do quick fire questions with you, right? But I got a couple of lyrics from your songs. I'll just ask, like, in terms of like reflection here. So this one's from Old Me.
Okay.
You said you know me. That's the old me. So what do you mean by that?
It's a lot to do with, I guess, my childhood, like growing up and just literally being like, you know, in different scenarios, different friendship circles.
Okay.
And I've grown and developed. I've had so many me's, like, and I think that's okay to
Oh yeah.
to be. Like I think that every like 5 years, my personality slightly changes, or maybe I maneuver in a different way, or even like yourself, maybe like you're I don't know what you were like when you were younger, but maybe now you're like, I'm a bit more, focused, more of a businessman now. Like I'm not so erratic as I was a younger, and I think that is, that the old me thing, that really was that,
Definitely. No, because I resonated with that lyric because the way I say, like, sometimes you have to kill yourself so that the new self can be born.
Exactly.
So it's
I like
fine
that.
to kill yourself, but it's only so that you can make room for the new self, like
Exactly.
the new being. And it doesn't mean that you've completely changed who you are, but there are, as you say, certain elements. You might think in a different way, you might react in a different way, you might work in a different way. So that is like, using me as an example. When I was younger, I used to just chill a lot. I'd work hard, but I wouldn't be working smart, and I wouldn't be working hard in the right areas.
Yeah.
So that's shifted,
Facts.
So if you were to like put me and that person next to each other, it would, as you say, it's a new me. I like that. And then one more for you. Which one's this one? From Cycles. So feeling like a lost soul, chilling at a crossroad.
Yeah.
To be fair, I feel like from our podcast, we've kind of
It's
related
exactly,
to that,
literally, bro. Like I swear down, like a lot of this music is me speaking to myself in these situations where I'm like feeling like a lost soul at a crossroad. That was like, I've actually said that in a few of my songs because I am like, I don't know what to do. So that's why I'm making music, because I don't really know what I'm doing with my life. Like I actually don't. And it's a horrible feeling when you're not seeing success from anything that you're doing, but I'm just doing it because I feel like this is the right thing to do. And that, I've actually got a song called Crossroad from back in the day that's exactly the same. And yeah, it's a lovely thing. Like honestly, it's such an amazing thing. And I think only once you experience this feeling coming from it is like how beautiful it is when I listen back to these music and I hear like, even like, someone else saying that lyric, I remember how I was in that moment in time. And I wished that I could be in this position that I'm at right now, even though I'm not where I want to be, even financially or anything, like even a 1% of where, even trading anything, but I've got a purpose. I wake up every day and I know what I want to improve on. Whether I choose to do it or not, if I'm lazy or whatever, it doesn't matter. I've got a purpose and I feel like I've got a target. I'm excited for that when I hit that target, And yeah, man, I think my younger self would be proud, especially when I was making that song. I think I could actually answer, like, at that time I didn't know what trading was. At that time I didn't know I could necessarily be a success with music. I like to, and I really wanted to, and I was at studio every day, but I was at a crossroad where I was like, bro, you either put your money into this music video, or you give it to your family to help them out, or you save up for a mortgage, or I don't know what to do. Like, but that's not going to get me rich buying a mortgage. You know what I mean? Like putting like 20, like saving up for 2 years or 3 years to put 20 bags down into a mortgage. I'm like, is that really going to get me rich? That's boring. You know what I mean? That is ultimately is boring, and I still got to work. I still got to work 9 to 5. So I'm like, surely there's more to this. And that was the crossroad. It was figuring out
which
like,
path to take.
what path, but I don't know what path. I need to make a path and start building that path, because it's not like I've got loads
of there.
Yeah, I've not even got options. It's just like, just do something. And the music was the something. And then from just saying, fuck it, I think I'll do that. Then it's trading. Then it's all these other things, my clothing brand. So yeah, man. Yeah, it's mad you saying that, because listening back, I'm like, bro, like, I was in a real bad place back then time. So yeah, I feel
But just
blessed.
goes to show, like, look, you found a purpose, you found a vision, you then stuck to it, stayed consistent with it, had hard times anyway. So even though you found the purpose and were working hard, nothing changed.
Yeah,
You still had to go through a whole process. And now you're here with, a song that just released 8 weeks ago, 15 million streams.
Yeah.
How does that feel for you now? Do you feel actually indifferent, or is it literally just like, okay, now keep working?
Well, the first day we got like 100. I think we got. So it was actually half a day. So by 1 p.m. we hit like 50,000, 60,000 streams. And I'll be honest, I was at work and I went on my lunch break and I was looking on Spotify. They've got this like live count when you release a new song. And I was watching it go up and up. And like, I actually cried. It's the first time I've ever had, other than my headline show, it's the first time I've ever had a moment where I've actually felt like years of work have actually resulted in, like, I've actually released something and I've actually got what I expected. Because like I said before, I've always been depressed when I release music because I'm actually like I'm always let down because I want to be a superstar. People, my friends will be like, bro, you did like 20K views in a week. That's really good. And I'm like, yeah, for an up and coming rap, or like, you know, like I appreciate that, like, and I do, but I'm trying to be big, bro. Like, you got to appreciate the journey. So you do have to, these milestones, but I'm like, bro, I've been doing this 6 years, G. Like, this ain't a game no more. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
This is real money and everything. So yeah, when I hit that, like, I see 50K in like half day, I literally, like, I had a tear. I almost had a panic attack, but my first ever like good panic attack, where I was like, I can't actually believe. I actually was starting to believe that this day would never come.
Yeah.
And I'm, again, right now, I'm categorically not. I've not even blown up yet. My song's big. I've still got a fucking lot of work to do, like serious amounts of work to do. But this is like the first moment where I was like, wow, like, you were right. You, regardless of whether you do this again, it might take you 10 years to do this again, whatever. But like, it might be next song, but just know that your 13-year-old self knew that you had it in the bag. Like, you can make a song that is a hit. Like, you clearly got to do it again, but just know that even if everything failed today, like my whole life just went tits up, yeah, I can honestly say to myself, like, wow, like, it doesn't matter how long. People don't care about the 7 years. They'll just go, oh yeah, you got that song that banged, didn't you? And I'm like, yeah, I can actually go out happy knowing that, like, I actually did have that hit. So now it's the start. Now I don't really feel much different. I get more people that come up to me in the street, or, you know, more followers or whatever. But bro, it's not like my bank's mad different. Like, it's not like, you know, anything's changed. I'm now like, I've got more pressure to make the next hit, because now I've got to follow it up. This is way more pressure than, oh, who is this guy? Suddenly, oh, this big song. Now there's more pressure. So this is now, and financially it's like, it costs more to do more. So now I've got to invest more. So yeah, it's actually a really weird stage for me, because I actually have so much more to focus on now. So it's such key moves now. I've got to be
strategic.
Really specific now. It's almost like I sound like a weirdo just relating everything to trading, but it's like passing the first stage in your challenge, and now you got the second stage.
Yeah,
it's only half the thing.
Yeah,
so
it should be easier now. Yeah,
should be easy, but it fucks everyone.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Because you think it's easy and it's not. So
you have to keep doing the exact same thing you're doing.
Exactly.
That's it. No, but again, massive congratulations again on
bro.
all the success and continued success. And thank you for coming down.
Thank you.
It was an absolute pleasure. And you know, I think you gave out a lot of value, even especially for traders. I was not worried, but I knew that, hey, this is slightly different than trading, but you know, a lot of the sort of overlapping, and you did presented that very, very well. So thank you again.
Thank you, bro. Trading's got a lot of fractals for life. So like, I really, it really does cross over. So
100%
implement everything. Yeah, man. But thank you for having me. Honestly.
No, it's my pleasure, honestly. But I'll have his descriptions it's in the description, sorry. So any links to Artan, if you want to check him out, it'll be there in the description below. Make sure you subscribe. And thank you for all your feedback so far. We're in the new studio. The new studio is going to get better and better and better. Thank you as always. Take care.
Thank you.